What up, fam? It's your boys on Birds of a Feather coming at you a few days after the draft. As you guys know, we are not live from the Real Talk Studios. We are live from our houses, from our humble abodes, staying safe, staying quarantined. We hope you guys are doing the same. This is Chuck's. We got Pete, I think, this way. Oh, Howie. And we got the Patriots Chrome, Kevin Godwin over there on the bottom. Chrome is not here tonight. He's a little under the weather, but don't worry, it is not COVID. He just he has a little bit of a headache and he's not able to come on. But just wish him well, and he should be back next week for the show. But this week, we've got draft recap talk, winners and losers. But before we get to that, our sponsors, our doc, Paul Vidal of Specialized Physical Therapy LLC. Find them in Burlington, Treherne, and Princeton. SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com and Bucks Services Gutter Cleaning for rotted board replacement, deck installation and restoration, tree trimming. Other gutter-related services, call 856-879-5530 or visit them at mbucksservices.com. Our poll question, guys, for today, as we talk about the NFL draft, the Eagles, day 3 picks, salvaged their draft. Agree or disagree? Our poll question is brought to you by QB54, the best tailgating game in the business. Visit them at playqb54shop.com and use promo code NONOTES to get 20% off. We will be talking about the Eagles draft today, recapping all 3 days, the Jalen Riga pick, the Jalen Hurts pick, the Jalen pick, the Jalen pick, all the Jalens, all the picks from rounds 1 to 7. And then we'll also go around the league, talk winners and losers there, who had the best drafts, who had the worst drafts, which prospects landed in ideal situations, all of that and more. So tune in, definitely comment, give us any questions you got, any comments, anything you guys want to talk about. Also, we will definitely get to those. But to start off, our poll question: the Eagles salvaged their draft with their day 3 picks, because we all know day 2 was kind of on the downside for Howie and the Eagles. So what they did on day 3, did that help swing them back into the positive point of view? Do you think it was a positive, overall draft for them, despite the lackluster day 2? So I'm going to start with Pete, because I know, we were talking birds. We're going to go with you. We were on and off together with a bunch of the A2D heads, the panel. We were all 3 days with each other. We were doing the live reaction shows. We were on together when the Hurts pick came in and everything else. So give your take, Pete. What do you think? Did they do enough to sway you even a little bit to say they salvaged their draft?
Well, just real quick, to speak on day 2, that wasn't lackluster. That was just a cluster. It rhymes with buck. You can feel it as a cluster blank, brain fart, whatever you want to call it. Day 3, Kayvon Wallace at 127, safety out of Auburn. Most people had a second round grade on him, high 3rd round grade. So to get him there, that was good value. Then from there, you get Driscoll. You trade back. You turn 146 into 4 or 5 more picks, a pick even next year. So smart on Howie's part there. But I mean, I still have to disagree. For me, you can't salvage a draft where, in context, if we're looking at this fully, what you did, the action of the team, what your needs were, the draft capital that you put in it at 53 in the 2nd round. And then, more importantly, I know guys were looking at the pick, and us not so much, but the fan out there, and whether you're on left side or right side, where you're totally against the Jalen Hurts pick, or you can understand why they may have did it, you actually like the pick or what have you. From there, essentially what would happen is you got to also look at how the board fell. So when the board fell the way that it did, and you're looking at borderline 1st round talent towards the tail end of the 2nd round of the draft, especially as we saw in the Sports Illustrated article when Jeremy Chin was on the board and they possibly could have had him to fill a need. I know that's Chuck's boy. I like him too. Definitely could have been played an integral part in the defense because when you look at day 2 picks, you want that pick to be able to contribute right away. You're not, and I won't even say a project. Jalen Hurts, he is sort of a project, but any other team, any other quarterback situation in the second round, I can understand. Also, any other round for the Eagles, I can understand. That doesn't make up for the actual third day, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round picks, which were very, very good, very strong. But we know that Howie can draft and our scouting department can draft in the later rounds. They've proven that time and time and time and time again. They've proven that. But that second round pick is just, I can't get over that. I can't get over that.
I mean, personally, I agree with the poll. I personally like the Hurts pick overall. Yes, could you say that it was a reach taking him in a second? Sure, but if you're going to ask for Howie to go up and go get his guy in receiver, you got to do the same. With probably the most important position in on the field, being that quarterback, is you have a quarterback now that can he be a franchise guy? Sure, but has he been? I tend to lean to no, more so than yes because of the availability. So to have a contingency in place with a talent like Hurts who fits what Howie wants to do and leans towards the more athletic side and can fill in a couple different roles, maybe out of the backfield or as an underneath guy if you only want to throw one tight end on the field, pair him with him. I personally I like to pick. I think that it wasn't as bad as people say. So I tend to like it overall. I think day 3 was just as good. So
you like the pick, Kev. You didn't like. Okay, consider that where it was too. You're saying that you're okay with the pick.
I'm just that. I'm okay with the pick. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's the best pick they could have done. Obviously, they had other needs, but I do think for what they've got and the direction they want to go, I wouldn't say it's a terrible pick. I wouldn't say that I wouldn't rake them over the coals for it. Could it be used on Chin? Sure. Could you have gone out and get another receiver? Sure. If you're going to use him as an offensive weapon, take the tag of quarterback off of him, then I'm not going to rake him over the coals until I see it happen. If they don't end up using him and they can't find a fit in the offense for him, sure. But you have to remember, this isn't the same offensive, it's not the same offensive stable of coaches on the team as last year. So there's new minds in there. There's going to be new, fresh ideas coming in, and the league is moving in that direction. We already see Taysom Hill for the Saints, who is an NFC contender. We already see on the other side of the ball, how much the Ravens get their quarterbacks, all 3 of them for that matter, in the loop. Granted they usually do it when they're blowing teams out, and it's more of an experiment, but it can be used as an offensive weapon, and for that I like the pick overall.
I'm ashamed of you. I'm really like okay. All right, so
Go ahead.
we will get. By the way, Pete just had to run out real quick. He'll be back in a few. But okay, let me. I barely know where to start, but I'll start here. All right. With Jalen Hurts, I like the guy a lot. All right, and can he? Is he a throw? Does he have good passing quarterback ability right now? No, he doesn't. He's not the. He doesn't go through progressions very well. He's not the most accurate quarterback. A comp that I really liked was Tyrod Taylor, but with better intangibles. And I do like that comp. I think the style is very similar, and I think that's a fair comparison. So I do like the kid, and I like what he's been through. and how he's a team player and a competitor. Great kid, and I am rooting for him to do well. That being said, I see. I have no problem with taking a quarterback like him to implement into this offense to do new things. I don't mind the innovation and the idea of maybe, hey, let's try something new, kind of similar to what Taysom Hill does in New Orleans, kind of like how the Ravens were using Lamar Jackson his rookie year with Joe Flacco. That's kind of stuff. They want to take those ideas and principles and those concepts and implement that into the offense because that's the new wave and they want to get almost out in front of it. Maybe not in front of it because teams are doing it, but if they want to expand on it and make it an integral part of the offense, I'm fine with that. I don't mind that, trying something new and innovative, and just going with it, trying something different. That's perfectly fine, and I think it does help because like on running plays, you can expand with the QB running plays where you don't have to risk Carson as much running the football on certain option plays and everything. So I get it, and if anyone listens to Adam Lefkoe's podcast, he went on a good rant on his podcast saying similar things, and saying that like with Hurts, you have a backup with good skill that you don't have to pay a lot of money for, and that's a very good point. You're only paying a little bit, and with Carson Wentz's contract, that helps. That helps mitigate a lot of the costs. So I get that, and those are very, very good points, and I have no problem with that. The one problem that I have, and we talk about this, all of us on EduDS have talked about this ad nauseum since the pick was made, is at 53, that's absolutely atrocious. You do not do that at 53 overall in the second round. And I saw the report from Albert Breer saying that they were going to go, they were leaning either J.K. Dobbins or Jeremy Chin. And Pete, and everyone knows, I've been preaching Jeremy Chin for weeks. He's the defensive player that I wanted the most. And to know that he was the other option, but we passed on him for Jalen Hurts, like, I get it. Quarterback is the single most important position on the field for a football team. Right. And some others will argue that the second most is the backup quarterback position. And I get it. But the thing is, with Jeremy Chin or even J.K. Dobbins or anyone else you could have picked there at 53 overall, their maximum output and impact that they can have on this offense and on this team is a lot higher than what a backup quarterback in a limited role, even if you're doing Taysom Hill or Lamar Jackson type of stuff, it doesn't the impact that they could have over Lamar Jackson, over Jalen Hurts as a backup or as a specialized weapon is much greater. Like, you could get so much more out of that at 53rd overall. And so that's not fair. That's not maximizing your output for your pick that you're picking in the second round. It's not. You're not getting the return out of a second round value at 53 overall that you would be if you picked him at 103. We would be like you might have people raising eyebrows and questioning it a bit. But at 103, if he picked him there, none of us would be killing Howie over it. None of us would be would be ready to none of us would be pissed off like we are now. But knowing who you passed up on and what was there, I've tried. I've listened to a lot of different arguments from people who are very smart, who know what they're talking about and are very credible. And they try to make their case for why this is a good pick. And I've been trying to open my mind and accept it. But at the end of the day, at 53 overall, I cannot accept it. It's still a bad pick. So when I look at the poll, do I think that the day 3 picks salvage the overall draft? I don't. Because even though I think they had a phenomenal first round and a phenomenal day 3 of the draft, day 3, those picks are you're talking about most likely they're going to be role players, bench players who can develop somewhere out down the line. They're not going to be immediate impact players.
Right.
So the second round has to weigh more than rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7. So even though I loved what they did on day 3, I have to disagree. That does not salvage what they did at 53 overall and taking Jalen Hurts.
So for me, I definitely understand where the fan base is concerned in saying that the value in a Chin or a Dobbins in the second adds more value to the team than taking any quarterback, whether it be let's player A or B in that second with the 53rd pick. To me, I get it, but I absolutely disagree 100%. To me, saying is absurd, and for me, Exhibit is having 3 playoff runs in a row. Wentz doesn't finish. You're telling me that a second round overall pick at 53, who could quite potentially, if I go off of 3-year history, play in the playoffs and fill in a role, that doesn't add value? That's not an immediate value add. And what we've all already said it. What's the most important position on the field? It's quarterback. How do I protect my quarterback? Get him a faster weapon. That way he has somebody open quicker to get the ball out quicker. Did that in the first round. How else do I do that? I keep him upright and off the field. How do I help keep him off the field? By having a replacement backup ready to go that I can fill in and limit a snap count. Because 3 years in a row now, having that longevity down the stretch of the season hasn't been there. So now not only do you have somebody that can fill in on a snap count, and you add a second layer to your offense, and then you also have a viable backup to go into the playoffs and having Foles the same season if and when Foles gets hurt. Gets hurt again, because we've had 3 seasons in a row where it's happened. You only get lucky that one time, 2017, and make it all the way through. What if this is just a recurring thing that's going to keep happening down the stretch? Now, input Jalen Hurts, and that fixes your issue.
I have to tend to disagree, because Hurts is not a finished project yet. Like, Foles was way more of a better passer, has a stronger arm, and Foles is not considered to have a strong arm by any means when you think of quarterbacks as average. And Hurts is there too. But I want everybody to just to stop for a minute. They're not even giving you coach speak about Wentz being hurt. They did this shit to get fucking cute. That's what you guys got to realize. Everything Howie said is about getting cute. They didn't make this pick as a value because they're thinking about Wentz getting hurt. They made this pick because they want Taysom Hill, a two quarterback dynamic to their offense more often. So we're looking at it as a fan base talking about Wentz getting hurt. They're not even looking at him as an equal replacement to Wentz. They're looking at him as an offensive weapon, which I get, but they're completely misguided in that 53, and hence why the draft, there was not another quarterback taken for over 60 picks. 60 picks of teams like your New England Patriots that need a quarterback, that definitely can have a backup quarterback. I get the value of having $33 million tied up with 2 quarterbacks, makes the average around 18 mil. Jalen Hurts, 1.5 mil. I think his deal was 6 years for 4 years. I get that, and I understand your point of view as well, Kev. Not to cut your legs off from underneath it, but if you say that Wentz hasn't finished the season for 3 times, that's really not it. Like, and then I don't know what message you're truly sending to Wentz, and consciously, he's going to sit there and tell you everything is okay. We already seen how Hurts handled the situation at Alabama when he transferred, when it would transition from here to Tua, and how he went to Oklahoma. We've seen that adversity. But for Wentz, it's like the dude can't catch a break. It's almost like, am I not everything? Am I not good enough? Look at what I did the last 4 games of the year with completely practice squad wide receivers. I get knocked out of the game. I can't control how strong my brain is, how hard the velocity my brain ricochets off my skull, because I have a 275-pound guy who's still an unsigned fucking free agent, by the way, out there landing on me at full speed. I can't control that. So Howie is sitting here trying to salvage it now, because once again, the intent is there to go ahead and add an offensive weapon. I get that, but I could arguably dare say Brandon Graham is getting older. AJ Epinesa was there. You want to talk about value? We already see what defensive ends, premier defensive ends, get paid in this league. You could take a look at Brandon Graham's contract. So you could have got a similar deal for a first-round talented player at a defensive end and had him under control for 4 years for $6 to $10 million. Is that not just as valuable as a backup quarterback? And we have to really stop thinking about Jalen Hurts as a backup quarterback. He's not really being seen as that. That's not what Doug Peterson and Howie Roseman are viewing him as. They're viewing him as another offensive piece, not a backup, backup quote unquote quarterback. So if Wentz does go down, I can't see Hurts really having the mental capacity right now, his first year or even year two, to completely run a West Coast offense. Remember, he's a run and shoot type of player. He only threw so sparingly. He runs. That's not what a West Coast offense is. That's not what the philosophical Doug Peterson offense is. Let's not forget, fan base. Let's not forget, fam. When Foles was in the game, it looked like a more traditional West Coast offense. Jalen Hurts and Nick Foles, completely opposite ends of the quarterback spectrum. Complete opposite ends of the quarterback spectrum. I get the value. I just don't get it at 53. I really don't get it at 103, maybe 127. There's a chance that Jalen Hurts may have been there at 145. We don't know. But having that at 53 with the value on the board, I cannot let that go. And no, Harlem Cowboy, I know you posted it, and Brodo had put it up a while ago. You cannot get a high about them Cowboys. Get out of here with that shit. I enjoy you watching, but stay silent, stay on mute, notifications turned off. Don't come in here with that Cowboy negativity. Y'all got so much talent on offense, and y'all still won't do shit because y'all still should have paid Dak first.
Breach.
All right, I'm done. Okay,
yeah, cool. I will piggyback off of that real quick. And yeah, the Cowboys had. We'll get into this later, but Cowboys had one of the better drafts in the whole league. I absolutely give them that. Their draft was great, but adding talent has been something they've been doing the past few years. Putting it together is a total another question. They had talent last year. We had no talent. Everyone was hurt. Who won the division? The Eagles. So let's see what they do. Having that talent is one thing, but being able to put it together, having the right coaches to put it together and produce on the field, produce wins, is a totally another thing. So Harlem Cowboy, yeah. How about the Eagles winning the division? We'll see. You got to go through us, first. But to piggyback off of what you said, Kev, what you said, Pete, you're 100% right, and that's the thing that people aren't factoring in is at second overall, you're looking for someone who can contribute right away, almost right away. Everyone's saying, "Oh, what if Wentz gets hurt? What if Wentz gets hurt?" One, you can't think like that. If you go into your season always thinking like that, then you're already giving up the season. You really can't have that as the first thing in the back of your mind. Second of all, if Wentz goes down and you need a backup QB, Hurts ain't it. Hurts is not it. Have you guys not actually scouted and evaluated him and seen him in college? It's not like he didn't get pulled in the national championship game for Tua. Did he not? He did, because he couldn't execute and execute as a passer. He is not a West Coast offense quarterback, and this offense is complicated. West Coast offensive systems that are predicated on West Coast principles mainly, which is what this offense is, they're very complicated. They're timing-based routes, timing-based concepts on different levels of the field where you have to make progressions, not only in the half field, but the whole field. You have to scan the whole field. There are concepts and systems where quarterbacks only make reads in one half of the field, but this is not it. They're making full field progressions. So that's something Hurts does not do well. And he is not an accurate quarterback. So year one, is he going to be the backup? No, he's not. If Wentz goes down and Hurts has to be the starting quarterback, then we are still in trouble. We are still in trouble, and that's the truth. Year one, right now, Hurts is a weapon to be used. But drafting that at 53 overall? I don't like that. And if he's going to be a trade piece down the line, well, you better make sure you're getting a second rounder or higher for him, because otherwise you lost value. You absolutely did. Now, can Hurts develop? Then sure. I really hope he develops, but that's not something that's going to be happening in year one. That's something down the line that is he going to be starting where you can tell that he's developing as a quarterback? We don't know because Wentz is the starting quarterback here.
Right, real quick. James Edgefield, thank you for watching. Anthony 80s. Listen, dog, I cannot stress this to you enough. This kid is not, I'm not ripping Hurts. He is not Lamar Jackson. He does not have the arm, nor does he have the athletic ability, nor does he have the size or the speed. And for one, our coaching staff isn't the same as it is in Baltimore. We're going to hear this correlation between Marty Morningweg being in Baltimore when Lamar Jackson came in his first year, and we are going to all hear that same thing now because Marty Morningweg is here in Philadelphia. And we all know Kev does not like running quarterbacks. That's essentially what he's a one-read guy. He's a tuck and run. And I want to say, like TA just said, we're not ripping Hurts as a player. We're not. I actually will go on record right now and say if Hurts does develop and Hurts does pan out, I think, and I love him. There's a higher value is then going to be trading Wentz and then moving on to Hurts, not trading Hurts. I hope that doesn't happen. I don't know. We shouldn't even be in a situation to where we have to sit here and ponder this. The only reason that we're here is not that Hurts got drafted. It's because the number that Hurts got drafted at. So he's a winner. He's a team player. He's a leader. I get that. But listen, James, I don't even think Doug really was 100% in it because if you go back and look at that press conference, when they talked about after the Hurts pick, I didn't get the feeling that Doug was 100% on board. I get the feeling that because you got to think, Doug is in a West Coast offense. He's the offensive coach. Now he's really the offensive play caller. He has the final say-so. He's looking at Denzel Mims on the board. He's looking at J.K. Dobbins on the board. And I'm pretty sure Jim Schwartz is looking at Jeremy Chin and A.J. Espinez on the board. They're looking at, okay, we did this in the offseason. We just got Jalen Riga. If we can get Mims too, man, it's whatever we could do. J.K. Dobbins, the same thing. J.K. Dobbins, Miles Sanders in the backfield at the same time. You get Miles Sanders in motion. You add a truly committed defender to that. That's used to catching the ball, running routes, and whatever else. But I just don't see, and I'm not against Hurts. I'm against the number he got drafted at. And if you guys really don't think, if you really believe that he can get Wentz or beat Wentz out, or we're all going to eat crow like one of our comments said, I don't see it. I'll be the first one to do it if it happens. But if that happens, we're also sacrificing Wentz. That's in order for him to succeed, Wentz has to fail, which means the Cowboys are more likely than not going to win the division. So I don't want any of that to happen.
Yeah, and Kevin, before you go, I just want to add in, I want to really quick just say that I don't hate Hurts. I said it at the beginning of the show. I don't hate Hurts. I really like the kid, and I really like his potential. That I said at the beginning of that show. So I'm not rooting against Hurts. I don't have anything against him. I like him as a prospect and as a player. The issue here is not Hurts. The issue here is Howie picking him at 53. That is the issue. Go ahead, Kev.
So for me, the more and more we talk about it, the more and more I'm trending to liking the pick more. If you tell me you can have either a franchise quarterback or B, a high upside trade piece in 2 years that you can use as an offensive weapon, and a long-term backup solution that I can groom and have no pressure on to be a starter in 2 years, sign me up. If you say that, one of two things is going to happen. Either A, it's going to give you an offensive fold they don't have now in a limited use that will help in short term. You might only throw them out there 3 plays a game. If that 2 plays a game, people are going to have to watch for it. So that's an offensive fold, right? Then if you say that, say Wentz does get hurt, I'm not saying, probability says that he will. I'm not hoping that it does. I'm not saying that's the direction that the pick goes, but 3 years in a row, probability says that at some point you may miss a game or two. I'm going to have, and that's going to be on the back end of the year, right? All of his injuries have been later in the year. So you tell me for 10 weeks I could have end offensive preseason in camp, I can groom this kid under a quarterback that has a stronger arm, that has the mindset to stand in a pocket, sure, I'll take it. I will have that, I will take that, 10 weeks of grooming period before I would need him. And then if you tell me that, hey, this piece works, even if don't even call him a quarterback, call him offensive weapon A. If offensive weapon A works out in the setting that you took him at 2, and now you can go trade him for a second and third as future picks because teams want to do the same thing, and you're not moving on from Wentz because he doesn't get hurt, that's 2 more picks that you just got out of the value that probably, if that happened, led you to a playoff run. And if not, say Wentz does get hurt, and Hurts does succeed in the offense, you're saving money because now you're taking on a younger contract with a player that was groomed under your quote unquote franchise quarterback and made a new, more versatile quarterback without the injury problems. So for me, I look at it, the only way that this pick doesn't pan out in a positive for the Eagles, it's an absolute bust, and they can't put him in a role, day one. If they don't use him like they plan and they just don't even try to touch it, and Wentz never comes off the field, that's the only way I see it. This as a bust. I think that it's nothing but positives outside of that.
I don't know, because I think you're
Yeah.
saying that down the line we can get him for a second and a third. That's lofty for a quarterback that's going to play limited snaps at best case scenario, right? Say he plays limited snaps. He's like, say like around 20% of the snaps. I think that's what Taysom Hill did, right? I think for New Orleans, correct me if I'm wrong, but he plays around 20% of the snaps and gets a few touches every game. So say he does that. You're telling me a team is going to be willing to give up a second and a third for him, or a first rounder for him? I don't. Is it impossible? No, it's not impossible. But that's very already setting the bar that high that's what you need to get in return to make this draft.
Right.
Pick the value to get in return the right value. That's so high. That's so high.
And it's stupid business. Like, you don't invest to break even in any business. And these draft picks are investments. I'll give you one better. Brodo dropped something on us behind the scenes that he has a source. And if he wants to come on from lurching out of the shadows, to drop it. But they went into this process with this in mind. And what baffles me even more is the fact that they didn't go out and sign a UDFA, which Taysom Hill was, and Khalil Tate, quarterback out of Arizona, who is more in line with what Taysom Hill brings to the table than a Jalen Hurts. So it's sending mixed signals all around the board. And I get, Kev, I can kind of see your point. But if I drafted him for a second and I get back a second, and maybe even a third, was that worth it? To me, that's not worth it. To me, Yannick Ngakoue, a 4th round pick, is talking about getting traded for a 2nd round pick or multiple firsts. That's a come up. That's a hit.
Because you're talking about when you take something, a good return is when that value increases, not stays par. That's business.
I think you're missing the value out of the pick in general. If I trade him and get back a second, but extend my time that I can have Wentz on the field and the playoff push that would have to happen to get that 2nd round pick, to me that's value right there. If I get to the playoffs and make a run and I win the NFC East, I win the NFC Championship game, whatever it might be, as far as I get, to have a 2nd round grade back on him, then I'm okay with that. That means that my quarterback either stayed healthy or something else had to happen to even get back that value. So if that happens, I'm okay with it. So somebody commented earlier, the Jimmy G, what did he go for? He only played maybe 5 games, or if that, or if you have all the hats right there, and he got back a second.
But what round was Jimmy? What round was he drafted in?
That I don't remember off the top of my head.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't the second.
It might have been later.
Sure it wasn't a 2
and
for
here's
2.
the thing. And here's the thing. When Jimmy G played, he was the starting quarterback.
Yes.
He was the starting quarterback who played a traditional starting quarterback role. If things are supposed to go the way they're supposed to go, Jalen Hurts is not going to see the field as the starter. He is just a specialty guy. What team is going to be willing to give up those type of assets for a weapon, not a quarterback? That's the point. You're drafting at 53 a guy who ideally will not see the field as your starting quarterback.
Yes.
That's the thing. And if he does see the field as your starting quarterback, that's because Wentz got hurt, and that is not ideal. So then you're now banking on the fact that Wentz got hurt and something happened. And then you're also banking on the fact that Jalen Hurts can be a quarterback. Again, I like Hurts, but people can't deny the fact that he is not a polished passer. People want to throw out the Russell Wilson comparison. That is such a bad comparison. Russell Wilson in college
was not even close.
He was a passer. Jalen Hurts is not a bona fide prototypical type of passer. He is a runner right now who has an arm that you can work with and develop, but there's no guarantee to that he'll ever turn out to be a good passer. I'm not saying he can't develop or that good cannot come out of this. I pray and I hope that good will come out of this, but the risk that you take on and all the variables that are there for it to work out the way you want to maximize that value and return, it's just way too risky, and there are way too many factors for that to happen. That's the thing. That's what you open yourself up to when you draft him at 53 overall instead of in the 3rd round or in the 4th round.
Yeah.
So Garoppolo was the 62nd pick overall, 2nd round. So they got back a 2nd round for him.
But again, was he a starting quarterback for those games that he played?
2 of them.
Yeah, he showed that he came in the game as a starting quarterback and he played a traditional quarterback role, correct?
Right. So that's right, but that's as of right now. You're talking about the games that he played. He had sat behind the greatest player of all time to get to that level. It's not like he came in and he was a offensive weapon, like what they're going to use Hurts as, and they took him in the 2nd round. You're talking about 2 years sitting under somebody and learning how to be that starter, and then getting back a 2nd round draft pick. Now Hurts being in a better position to get that value back by adding stock to himself by being an offensive weapon, and then molding into a starter. So for people that are bashing the comparison, it's 100% accurate to think that you could have a guy like Hurts sit under, add offensive value, and still get back a 2nd round pick if becomes a true starter. Garoppolo did the same exact thing, having been under Brady for that long.
Wait,
three
Kevin,
things.
I sense so much hypocrisy here because you are the one person who hates running quarterbacks. You go on here and a couple weeks ago you called Lamar Jackson a running back. So you cannot go on here and make these arguments about Hurts and then say what you did about Lamar.
I personally don't like them.
Things going on here, Kevin. So stop flip-flopping.
I'm not flip-flopping at all. I personally had to pick on the record. If I had to pick a quarterback to start franchise with, it would be a gunslinger. It would be a Brady. It would be a Favre. It would be a Rodgers. But if I'm going to have somebody that could add value, that doesn't mean that I don't like them or they're not a good player. It's just not my personal preference to start a team with.
Kevin.
But can it be done? Absolutely.
That's Kevin right now.
Kevin,
not even a little bit.
Kevin, I don't know what's more horrifying. The fact that you flip-flopped probably 7 times in 2 weeks, or the fact that you don't realize you flip-flopped 7 times in the last 2 weeks.
I'm not flip-flopping at all.
You're flip
Listen
flopping.
it back. You're on tape.
You flip flopping or flop flipping?
Just because I say I don't like running quarterbacks, if I was to build a team, would I take a running quarterback? No. Would I like if the Patriots went out and got Cam? No, 100%. I don't want that to happen. But if I had an offensive weapon like that, is there value there? Sure. Can it work? Yes. That's not flip flop. That's a personal preference of not wanting something versus saying that something is of value. I have to accept that. Yes, having Hurts in the lineup and as an offensive weapon does add value. Yes. Is it a pick I would make necessarily to as an offensive weapon? No, because I want my quarterback to be that and throw the ball. But that's not flip flopping.
So if this was the Patriots, how would you feel?
Well, first off, the Patriots would have to have starting quarterback.
No,
to have
don't do it. Don't
take
do
it back.
it. Answer the question. Answer the question.
I would personally like to pick even more
Yeah.
because of the.
God.
If you had a Tom Brady that was 27 years old and just got a new contract, and you
No,
invested
you said right now.
27 years
if
old.
the Patriots.
No. Brady in
if
his
you're
prime.
saying right now, you can say that you said if the Patriots were to take this pick.
You got to take all the context. Wentz in his prime, Brady in his prime, Bill Belichick wouldn't first and foremost wouldn't be stooping up to spend a second round pick on somebody like Jalen Hurts who's a project. But if he so in fact did and he had a brain for it, how would the Patriots fan base feel, specifically you?
If it's Brady's team, if it is last year and Brady's on the team and you make Hurts, I don't like it because it doesn't fit within the offense because there is no second option. We don't run any type of mobile play. But you can. But you can is the point. Brady absolutely cannot. The only person that's less mobile than Brady was Peyton. Okay? If I was to take it right now in the Patriots offense, I would absolutely take it because I have a quarterback in Stidham who can move around at least a bit, and it adds another offensive weapon where I don't have it in all of my receiving core. So as of today, if the Patriots had that pick, I would love it.
Is another scenario where Hurts' value can go up, and it doesn't have to factor in Carson's downfall or injury. We don't have to worry about getting suspended for inflated or deflated balls. That's one thing, Kevin. He's a man of the Lord. He does not cheat across corners.
Allegedly.
But Lamar Jackson has to ball the fuck out and win MVP again and then win the Super Bowl. And Jalen Hurts has to look like he can somewhat do that to a team to be like, you know what? We can get Jalen Hurts and he can do that potentially. That's the only other way that Hurts' value can go up without us sacrificing Carson. That's it. Lamar, it really Hurts' success lies in so much with Lamar Jackson's success because he has to sell, and Doug and Howie have to sell them on the fact that this kid can eventually be that if he can. Because listen, let's not kid ourselves. I'm not sure, did Taysom Hill, did he hit the market or did the Saints not let him hit the market?
They did not let him hit the market because they put a first-round tender on him.
And did they not also just draft? Did they draft a quarterback as well?
They took a kid late and they just signed Winston.
Yes, they did.
By the way, Pete, while you're on Taysom, I know you alluded to it earlier. I'll just briefly say it for the fam. The piece of information I gave you guys that I got a handful of weeks ago and over the last handful of days. So about a month ago, I was told it was right around, free agency. I guess it was more than a month at this point. I was told that, and we heard rumors about it, but I heard officially that they wanted Taysom Hill badly. The Philadelphia Eagles wanted him badly. And that's when all those articles and those rumors were circulating of, Taysom Hill to be the backup quarterback to Carson Wentz, because that's when everyone was talking about, could it be Mariota? Could it be Flacco? And this is where Taysom Hill came out of nowhere, and we're like, Taysom Hill? What are we talking? Taysom Hill. So then, to Kevin's point, like you just alluded to, Pete, he was not available. He did not become available, to where if he became available, the Eagles were going to push hard for him because it fits the same mold a la what they did in the second round with Jalen Hurts. That's why you're hearing consistently it's going to be Jalen Hurts on steroids. their plan, what they're trying to do. So like everyone out there, and I haven't seen it too much in this chat, so that's good. There's been a ton of people over the last handful of days that are like, guys, it doesn't matter. He's never going to play. That's wrong. Like everybody sitting at home, get that out of your head. He will play. He will play quite a lot. And I'm not even saying if Carson Wentz gets hurt. If Carson Wentz is available, he's still going to play. Think of it like everyone's talking about, oh, he's going to be Lamar Jackson. Oh, he's going to be Taysom Hill. Those are two outlandish comparisons because, number one, Taysom Hill was an undrafted free agent. And Lamar Jackson, well, he was the MVP of the league last year. And the only reason why he saw the field in his rookie year was because they were trying to push Joe Flacco out. Keep that in mind.
Mhm.
Joe Flacco was a 5-year disappointment ever since he won the Super Bowl. They were trying to push him out, and Flacco got hurt. Think of it like this. Everyone remember when Michael Vick came in? When Donovan was still in the team? And he was kind of that trick artist type quarterback. He was that third stringer. Think of that, but more of it. That's what you're going to see out of Jalen Hurts. That's what you're going to see. And their plan, and I'll just throw this out there again, we don't know how we could go either way because it's all about the health and the success of our guy, 11. Their plan in the next 2 years, in the 2-year window, once that window's over, one of these guys aren't going to be on the roster. Can't tell you who.
Exactly.
Nobody can. But their plan is, if it is Hurts that is still on the roster, their plan and their philosophy is we're going to have a Jalen Hurts who's in the system for 2 years and is more polished and is in our offensive system. That's the plan. I don't like it, but everyone's saying it's something else. It's not. Anyway, that's it. Goodbye.
Gotcha. Thank you, Brodo,
Sure.
for chiming in.
So
That's before we get to recap, I just want to make a quick announcement, guys. At the end of the show, don't go anywhere. We got a big announcement from the big guy, the big daddy, Tom. He's going to come on at the end. I don't know what it is. Don't look at me. Don't ask me.
Really?
Don't text me. Don't DM me. He just wanted me to forward the message that he will be on. So everyone listening, stay tuned for the end of the show. He will be making a huge announcement. Again, I don't know what it is. So you're going to have to stay tuned because I don't even know what it is. So I'm going to stay tuned. But anyway,
No
go ahead.
idea.
Kev. What were you going to say?
Yeah, so this kind of just came to me as, Brodo was talking about the whole Vic scenario and, using a second quarterback in the mix more so than not. And, either one of the quarterbacks moving on, either Wentz or Hurts. Do you think that the consensus of pushing forward is to have more dual quarterback setups because of the value that it brings both, to the pocket and to the play style? Because if you think about it, where's the most expensive position on the field? Quarterback. Where's there only one of? Quarterback. That's why it brings so much value. What if I can pay two quarterbacks the same money that I would pay for one and get more value and get a different look offensively? And you drive value and you drive the first one's value down by bringing in a potential replacement and using both of them equally, throughout the offense.
It's tough to answer, but I don't know if a 2 quarterback system in the way people are thinking or the way you're trying to allude to is feasible because it's not like you're going with running like everyone back in the 90s. Obviously, like everyone was about one running back, correct? Your volume back, and then their backups were just backups. Now it's running back by committee mainly, or having at least a lead back take majority of the snaps, and
Or
then
a versatile back.
Reversible,
Right.
yeah. So it's not like that because you can substitute and rotate guys in a running back and not lose the flow of your offense. With a quarterback, if you're trying to split time with a quarterback, any quarterback will tell you taking them off the field or getting them out of rhythm of the offensive play calling, the natural flow of the offense really messes up with that flow. It messes up with the rhythm, and it really hampers what they're trying to do. That's why a lot of quarterbacks don't like it. So it's really tricky, and it's tricky because it depends on how they're being used. Again,
Right.
I don't mind. Yeah, the Patriots fan. I don't mind having
right.
2 quarterbacks like what the New Orleans Saints are doing. but you can't have two primary ones. You have to have one franchise or starter and then a backup that is capable of filling in that you can still use on occasion. It's
Now,
you know what I mean? Go ahead, Pete.
we love Doug, correct? We all
Yeah,
Doug's biggest intangible, he's a leader of men, correct? I mean, I would think that's one of his biggest qualities and
well
his
done.
fearlessness and his pedal to the metal, right?
Yes.
We know Doug at times can be innovative, correct? We're gonna what makes you what makes I said this to myself. There's nothing that makes me think that out of Doug Peterson and his qualities that this guy would be the one and the people around him to break the mold and come in with the first ever valuable 2 QB system because it hasn't been done. Sean Payton has it. If Sean Payton has committed to it altogether, nah. One of the most innovative minds in the NFL, Sean McVay. The one I think is the most innovative is Kyle Shanahan. And he hasn't gone to that, right or wrong. It hasn't worked. Lamar Jackson, dual threat. He's all enough in one package. So I just don't. It scares me that we have this vision in the first place by the front office. That's one. But the cherry on top of that, you do it to the point where you feel like you had to reach for it, and then you still sign it. You like, I mean, I just want people, the fam out there, go look up Khalil Tate, the undrafted free agent that they signed, and you go watch his tape, and you tell me that is not Taysom Hill-esque. That they put appropriate capital in and signed them as a UDFA, to where I just want people at 53. If we can, I wish we could have a snapshot of who was available on the board at 53. And you tell me there's not at least 3 or 4 or 5 players outside of Jalen. How long down that list Jalen Hurts would be before if you were Howie Roseman and you were taking the pick?
I mean, to kind of reply to what Chuck's was saying is I definitely agree as far as if you're talking about a 50-50 split 2 quarterback system, there's definitely a rhythm or a drive pace where it would have to be by drive or it would have to be by, realistically by drive, whoever's feeling the rhythm at that time. But a 75-25 type split where it's we're going to throw in 2-3 plays in a row right here and then drive off or whatever it might be. I think that the league can definitely trend that way, especially when you say if a guy's commanding, upwards of $100 million, or if you have Dak-esque money coming out, and you say, well, why would I pay you that much? You didn't even play for that kind of money. You're not a quote unquote franchise guy anymore. You're not you might be the starting quarterback and you might be the reason why we're in most games, but you don't have to be the reason why we win games. Now, they don't have to be the reason why you lose games either, having that secondary quarterback there, but it's just another sticking point to say, hey, we could potentially just move on to the guy that already knows the system because he's played so much in it and already knows, the direction that we want to go anyway, and just slide in another quarterback, like a Hurts into that position as a secondary spot. You save yourself in that way.
But that's years down the road, Kev. Where I don't want to. I'm all right. Let's say this because this may lead to a transition. I'm sitting here looking at the other teams in our division. Even David Solo Mass Gettleman come up and find a way to build his team up with value at positions of need and controllable contracts. I'm also sitting here looking at the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones on his boat in his spaceship, whatever, looking like Dr. Evil with a damn wig on, build his team up. I'm looking at the Redskins get Chase Young and already add that to the defensive line. I'm seeing them getting, I'm gonna mess his name up. The linebacker, Chuck's board. He got him too. So I'm looking at all these players go, and I'm like, two things, Kevin. I want to ask because Bill Belichick is a defensive minded coach, right? all this 2 quarterback shit, all this Taysom Hill shit, that would probably work for about 9 weeks. Or they may even get lucky enough and get through a season from it, right? Lamar Jackson was on fire during the regular season. What happened in the playoffs?
Well, nowhere.
What happened? Oh, my point. So, I mean, I get it, but we're telling the fan, don't look at him as a backup quarterback. Look at him as an offensive weapon. I get that part. But at the same time, I don't know how much he's truly going to contribute. And I don't know if we have the coaching staff here. If we had the coaching staff here to be able to create that. I don't want to see Harlem Cowboys comments anymore tonight. He's talking too much. He's talking too much. But no, appreciate you, Harlem Cowboy. But this is the same offense that we saw. How many times did we see the ball go left and right at the line of scrimmage? Now they finally got speed to go vertical. And I'm gonna be honest with you, boys. Chucks, Jalen Hurts may not have the arm strength to get the ball to them. Carson Wentz could throw the ball 60-some-odd yards in the air to Matt Collins on a dime. So based on everything else they drafted around speed and vertical routes and quickness. Jalen Hurts does not have the arm talent. Maybe not this year, definitely not this year, maybe not next year. He may have to go work with the guy Tom Brady worked with to go get his arm strength back up. So when you see that, I dare I say, I think there's a higher chance that if Wentz does go down, that Doug Peterson would rather go with Sudfeld than go with Hurts.
I agree.
And there's a lot of kids. Yeah, a year one. And a lot of I saw Kanil Patel say, "What's wrong with Sudfeld?" And there's nothing wrong with Sudfeld. Sudfeld's already told us he doesn't want to be here after this year. So they had to do something at the backup quarterback position where they didn't want to spend a lot of money and they wanted to get years out of it. So I can understand. I felt at some point during this draft they were going to draft a quarterback. I felt that I would have been much happier with the James Morgan, much happier with the Jacob Eason. Maybe that's a guy like Jacob Eason. Could be a guy get around Carson Wentz because there's questions about Eason off the field and he really loves the game of football. And there's something about Carson Wentz that's just infectious. He breathes, he sleeps, he eats this game. He loves this game so much. He's like a big kid out there. I think that would have rubbed off on Eason. Hurts is like that. Hurts is already like that. Hurts is built like that. But I don't know. I don't know if you guys want to transition. I feel like we're beating this into the ground.
I don't want to spend too much more time on Hurts. I mean, I think we all can just agree to disagree, and we'll see how it goes. But it's just to me, I cannot get over it. I've listened to people. I've tried to keep an open mind, but 53, it's a reach, and Kevin is still a flip flopper. But anyways, so the first round. I want to talk about this real quick. And we'll definitely get into the other picks. But a lot of conversation has been talked about the other pick that came before Hurts.
The other Jalen?
The other Jalen, the actual one that's going to make a huge impact is rookie year Jalen, and that's Jalen Riga. And I know that Pete, I mean, I'm not going to deny it. I'm the only one that loved the pick from.
Yeah, right away. You loved it right away. I
loved it right away. And a lot of people on A2D didn't, and they felt like it was a reach and everything. We've talked about it ad nauseum. We talked about it in our chat, talked about it on Facebook and social media. We all have our viewpoints of whether they should have taken Jefferson or they should have taken Reagor or traded. I don't even want to talk about them trading up because I really don't think. I think Howie tried to, but just couldn't find a partner. And if that's the case, you can't blame him.
Right.
I'm not on Howie's not on my good side right now, but I will not blame him if he couldn't trade up. You have to have a partner to do so. So I'm not even going to talk about the possibility of trading up or not trading up for one of the other wide receivers. To me, it was between Jefferson and Reagor. I've always believed since day one that the right pick was Reagor. Now that you have had, Pete, some more time to reflect, and you watch a little bit more tape study and listen to. I know I've been feeding you because I'm not trying to rub it into you. I just
Yeah.
want you to be at least content or a little bit more happier with the pick and not be miserable. So like I know I was sending you stuff to try to get you a little happier and buy into the Reagor pick to ease your mind a little bit. And Kevin, I know you've been MIA because you've been doing stuff, but like I know
Doing stuff.
obviously doing stuff. I know you know that we picked Jalen Riga, and based on what we've talked about him, the type of player he is. We took the speed guy over the the route running technician and the big slot guy in Jefferson. So what are your opinions on the take? Do you feel like are you buying more into the pick that he's going to be a great fit here? And Kevin, because we didn't get your opinions over the weekend or your opinion over the weekend, do you think it was the right fit for them to go Reagor over Jefferson? So Pete, we'll start with you.
So I was lukewarm on the pick when it happened. I was more shocked by, once again, what was there at 21 and where Howie's kind of thought process is. But as more information comes out as far as how high they were, and what you sent me, the Draft Network's it's the Scout, was it the Scout Network? Dan Hatton,
Scouting Academy, yeah.
Dan Hatton, breaking down his playability and then really looking at his uncatchable numbers because his QB play was poor. And when you look at that, and when we evaluate tape and we look at these players, we want to look at completions and we can look at the drops, but some of the balls were just in bad positions. He could have had a lot more catches last year if the balls were better. But with that being said, I'm coming around on the pick to where, for what this team needs and what this team views him as to be the next player, then yes, I'm happy with the pick, because I feel like Justin Jefferson is he was more of a complete receiver already. I feel like he can still has a ceiling, but I feel like Reagor's ceiling is higher. His floor is lower than so there's less chance, because Jefferson, like, his ceiling is here, his floor is here. Whereas Reagor's ceiling is here, but his floor is like this, so the gap is bigger.
Yeah.
And he already has something that you can't coach, and that's this flat out speed. You never know how valuable a player is, or we always ask ourselves, there's never who is the next blank until there is the first. So when you hear, and Kevin can attest to this, he brought it up, when you hear that this guy is as fast, if not faster, than Tyreek Hill. So when you had that, yes, don't get me wrong, Tyreek Hill, questionable character, was drafted in the 5th round. But once you see what a player like that attribute can do on a football field, guess what? That guy, if you put him in this draft, goes now in the 1st round. Hence, now you have Jalen Riga, because this guy can run 4.2, play speed 4.29, 4.3, and we've seen it. That there was an 18-minute video. Dan Hatton, the Scouting Academy, is 18 minutes. He breaks down several plays, not all completions. He didn't do everything right in those routes, but the talent was there, and it can be coached upon. And when you look at all the connections to this team, from Monte Reagor, his dad, to playing with Aaron Moorhead, the Eagles have been on him since last year. And you look at the quarterback play this year compared to 2018, and the guy has almost a 4-foot vertical. So even though he's only 5'11", he'll go up and get it. He plays a lot bigger than that. And I just don't think, as far as the explosiveness, we would have got that from Justin Jefferson. Would I have loved to have Patrick Queen? Would I have loved for Atlanta to go ahead and trade up and take 53 or take 103 and possibly get CeeDee Lamb? I really think the sweet spot was, because I want, if Denver goes CeeDee Lamb, I think Howie does everything he can to go get Jerry Jeudy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's completely different. We have to look at the board. They had Jeudy. It came out right after. They had Jeudy ranked as number 1. Jalen was their number 2 wide receiver. So if Jeudy is there on the board sitting there at 16, I think we don't even talk about the other Jalen. That doesn't happen, because they're going to get Jeudy. So I'm coming around on the pick. I'm excited, and we don't know when we're going to get football again. But once we do, if Jalen, just bringing in his raw skill set, just that speed and that explosiveness and the in and out breaks, the route running is not as polished as we like it to be. But guess what? That's something that can be coached up and that can be taught. The drops, the lack of concentration is also something that can be coached up. It can be dropped. I will say this: Deshaun Jackson. I'm going on record and said this already. I think he's the best deep threat ever in the league that's ever been created. Best at one at tracking balls in the air. Doesn't drop the ball. Just his body's working against him. This is different. Like, this speed is different than even Deshaun's speed, because Deshaun is 6 foot and he's fast, so he's more of a strider. Where this is just Reagor, he just gets on you quick, and by the time you turn that back hip, it's too late. It's too late, and we've already seen Carson can air it out, and we're also talking about this kid can break tackles. So, long story short, Chucks, I appreciate you sending me all the information because it did help me come around, and I'm at peace. I'm at a non-mistake level with it right now.
Love it. Kevin, what you got?
For me, I 100% absolutely love this pick for the Eagles. I think that this is the best fit for them. I think it might be the best fit in the draft overall, as far as, we look at prospects to their respective teams. And I will give you the best comparison I've seen to come up with. Randy Moss with the Patriots in the latter portion of his career. Stay with the Patriots, that is. You have a deep threat with no true number 2. You have a more slotty looking team with a good stable of either tight end or receivers out of the backfield. If I look at this team, I don't even need Reagor to catch the ball. I think they said last year Tyreek Hill's top speed was 22.4, 22.2 miles an hour. Reagor's is faster, by a margin, but faster. If you tell me that I can say, hey, go in a straight line as fast as you can, everybody back there to drop on you because there's a chance I could throw you the ball and you could beat everybody over the top, I will take that any day. I don't care if he drops 50% of the balls. It doesn't even make a difference. As long as you have that type of speed with a team that is very sure-handed underneath, with a Miles out of the backfield or an Ertz or Goddard underneath, I don't care what happens in the secondary at that point. You've made everybody else drop out. Now add in the coaching on a team where you can coach up those tangibles, the catching ability or the route running. The route running doesn't even matter to me at that point. Right. Was Moss a great route runner? No, he didn't have to be. Edelman and Welker were on the opposite side of the field. You don't have to be both. Right, it's great if you have that slot ability, but if you're an outside speed guy, go be an outside speed guy. I don't need you to make all those moves like people are knocking them for. I need you to be able to jump up over top of people and catch the ball, when I need to get it down the field. So for me, that's exactly what this team needed. That's what they went up and got. To me, that's what makes the Hurts pick, I guess, for me, a little bit more acceptable, because I think that, for me, Reagor completes this offense much more than anyone else at the pick, to where, somebody mentioned earlier, it was a luxury pick, at that spot, because you've already kind of completed what your look is going to be. So, to me, I like it.
Yeah, I love it. Sorry, go ahead. I love what all you guys said, Kevin. We're finally agreeing on something. Thank God. In the comments, Tommy Boy's coming around on it. Jake's been coming around on it, and I'm really glad to hear that, because I didn't like. I got overboard because I got overexcited on Thursday, but I don't like seeing you guys so upset about the pick, because I'm telling you, based on all the study I did on this guy's ceiling is really high. And that's why I was so in love with the pick. And it's not because I hated Jefferson. I want to make that clear. I don't hate Jefferson. I think Jefferson is one of the safest picks, if not the safest pick at wide receiver. He is going to be great regardless of where he went. And I really like Justin Jefferson. But, we talk about fit, and that plays a huge part when it comes to teams drafting players. And with Reagor, I said it so many times, this team was missing that speed element, because it's not like Reagor's impact goes towards just catches, what Kevin once said. His impact on this team is what we needed Deshaun for all of last year.
Yes.
And that's taking the top off the defense to clear stuff for Miles, for Ertz, for Goddard, because they are elite wide receivers. Well, I don't want to say elite for everyone, Ertz is, but Goddard and Sanders are on their way. They are receivers in the underneath area of the field, the short to intermediate areas of the field, but they had such a hard time because defense did not ease up off of that.
Yes.
They played so far close to the line of scrimmage, there was no room, and that was the issue. The issue with the offense was because we did not have that vertical threat to create space for everyone else. That's why I was so insistent on getting Reagor, because he's exactly what this offense needs. It's beyond his impact to this offense can be greater than just numbers. It's creating that space for everyone else. He makes everyone better by not even touching the football. And it really, I want everybody out there that was hesitant about the pick, do not look at 40 times. I can't stress this enough. I was talking about this for days on end. Even when we had Elger Buckley on Friday night before the draft, he was arguing with me about 40 times. Guys, don't look at 40 times. I say this all the time. This is why I love and hate the combine, because people take 40 times as if that's gospel to a player's speed.
Yes.
It's not. It's you have players who run faster at their combine than they actually play, which the speed they actually play at, which is Justin Jefferson. And then you have guys who run slower at their combine than they actually play. Just watch the field and tell me that Jalen Riga's speed isn't at so many tiers above Justin Jefferson. It just is. Justin Jefferson doesn't have that kind of big play ability or explosive ability. He doesn't. And then, like with everyone's always talking about, oh, we could have traded back. He would have been there second round. You don't know that, guys. When you talk,
I don't think he was getting out of the first. He wasn't getting out of the first.
He wasn't getting out of the first. When you talk about draft boards, you cannot look at what's online and think that there's some consensus big board that all teams follow. That's not how it works. Every team's board is different. So there's no way you can say with 100% guarantee that Reagor would have been there in a second if we traded back, or if he would have even been there at 26, 27, 28. We don't know that because we've heard things that the Vikings and Saints wanted Reagor too. So you can't say that it was a reach when everyone else that was available, there was no one in tiers above him. They were all around the same tier in terms of grade. Like, you can vary a little bit, but for the most part, they're around that same tier. And you can't say it's reaching if you wanted a guy. If you are targeting a guy that is your guy and a perfect fit with what you want, and he is talented, then just take him where you're at. Greg Cosell made that argument. If you guys know Greg Cosell, been in the business for years at NFL Films, one of the smartest people in media you will find when it comes to player evaluation. He made that argument, and it opened my eyes when he was talking about the Daniel Jones pick for the Giants last year. And everyone was laughing at the Daniel Jones pick. And he's saying there like, hey, they believed in their guy. They believed in Daniel Jones was their guy. And if they had passed on him, he would not have been there in the next pick. So why risk that? If he is their guy, you just go get him. Enough of this reaching business. And if you follow Cosell, he does extensive work with the draft, but he doesn't believe in rankings and lists because he believes those are arbitrary. He believes that comparing a guy like KJ Hamler to a Justin Jefferson is irrelevant because they're different types of receivers. You don't know what teams will need. So it's arbitrary to compare them. And there's a lot of things that he opens your eyes to when it comes to the draft. But to reel it back in, I think that, we really are going to be surprised. All of the people that didn't like the pick, I hope everyone's coming around to it. Because I don't want to gloat to everyone. I just want everyone to be excited about the pick because he is that good. So, Kevin, I think, or no, Pete, you were going to say something.
So I saw a couple of comments and I saw someone was, they drafted a bunch of receivers and they're fast as shit, LOL, which is true. But it's different type of speed. And if TA's still watching it, and I'll give you a baseball reference. Like, I was a pitcher in high school and coming up with Little League, and I topped out at like 88. And that was considered fast. I stopped playing my sophomore year. But even as there's like there's speed. There's a Rawdis Chapman speed where it's just fast. It just comes out fast. But then there's speed itself where it creeps up on you and it's just heavy. And that's when I look at Jalen Riga, I don't look at necessarily Deshaun. I heard a Macklin comp. Somebody actually said that he was compared to Aguilar 2.0. Aguilar couldn't beat Jalen Riga if he had a fucking head start. That's one. So I just want to throw that out there. But he gets on you so fast, and he's a thicker body guy, even as a smaller frame, but he's a thicker body guy that also goes over the middle and has a vertical. He'll jump up and get it and still be able to keep his feet. So it's just a little bit different. I mean, we can get into John Hightower, Quez Watkins. Those are more your traditionally lanky, long striders with some speed. It's different. And look, Bryce Blackwell talking about a UDFA, Adrian Killings, running back. That's another one. Speed. Even with Davion Taylor, the third round pick at 103, the linebacker out of Colorado. People with somewhat of a reach, but he's a dog. He's speed. He ran 4.49. There's some wide receivers that got drafted that ran slower, and he plays like it on the field. Maybe not has the most natural instincts, but getting to the ball, speed, that's what they wanted. So it's just speed now all over the field, but it's also speed at key positions. Thick or thick? What are we talking, Greg? Context. What are we talking about? Greg. What are we talking about?
Right, go back to the Instagram DMs, Greg. There's been a couple pictures posted, Greg. Got to go like them.
Because I mean, there's thick and there's thick. That's two different types. But go ahead, Kev.
Yeah, I think that going back off of what Chuck said, as far as going up and getting your guy wherever you believe he's at, in a setting where it's unproven throughout, you haven't seen that player in your team scenario, situation, or at the next level. I agree 100%. I think that if you've already done your due diligence and you're kind of already game planning for where you project your team to go, then I think that taking your guy wherever you are, go for it. I think 31 other teams could have had Reagor at a 4th round grade. That's fine. But if you, as the Eagles, in your setup, if you plan to use him in a role that makes that 4th round grade an all-star number 1 overall pick, first round, first pick type guy, then by all means, go get him. If he fits there, and I'm all for that. I don't believe in necessarily saying, oh, well, there might be better value guys out there, but the value is in the team that he's on. What value does he provide for the team that's there?
Very well said, Kevin. Very, very, very well said, Kevin.
He's killing it. This topic.
I'm proud. So, you see Bryce. Bryce is on the UDFA. I'm just going to give 45 seconds to a minute and let Chuck discuss Michael Warren and just let us know what we got there as a UDFA.
I love Michael Warren. If you guys, follow my work, I made a breakdown video of Michael Warren weeks before the draft, the beginning of April, and he was someone I spotted as a late round target that would be great for the Eagles, a great complement to what we have here already in Miles Sanders and Boston Scott. And why do I say that? Because Michael Warren he's a big guy. He's only like 5'9", 5'10", but he's 226. So he's short and he is thick. We're talking about thick and thick. Michael Warren is thick, but he's not just a heavy plotter. He has really good feet for that. For a back of his type. Watch him move, and he makes some really impressive moves in space that you would not expect from a guy his size. And to add on to that, thick, exactly. To add on to that, he's a really good receiver. Very soft hands, used very well in the screen game. So he's someone who will offer a different dimension to Miles and to Boston as a runner, but you don't have to take him off the field for passing downs. You can still use him as a receiver. And I wanted him in like the 5th or 6th round. I love that we got him as an undrafted free agent. I think the competition between him and Elijah Holyfield is going to be an interesting one. And as Keneal Patel says, also Killings is fast. So you talking about adding even more speed. I wouldn't count him out either. We'll see what he does. I really like what Killings does in terms of offer speed. His vision is not as good and he's very slight of frame. He's very skinny. So I don't know. We talked about Pumphrey before, years ago, and how he doesn't make it. But he's going to have to show he can hold up to that type of beating in the NFL. But I think those two are really good pickups at UDFA. So Michael Warren, very excited about him. If you want to know more, check out my videos that I have on A2D of him and on my personal page.
So Middlebrook poses a question for me and Chucks, and Kev is a Pats fan, so I guess he's saying you don't matter in this question. What you do, Kev? You matter to us. You have an opinion.
That's your fan club going against you.
After you guys answer Bill KFC2's question, I'm also going to answer because this is also a concern to me as well. So go ahead, guys.
So, I mean, they went the alphabet. We all know who that is. Prince, I can't say his name.
Wanago.
Yeah, so his frame is too big to play to be a center. Driscoll possibly can do it. He has some versatility, but it's hard to ask it. I will say this: if they go center, if they have a center, anybody else play center besides Kelsey, they can't. I don't think they have the ability to do the same shit. The offensive line instantly becomes it's the same but slightly different because Kelsey just does so much.
Yeah,
that it's hard to replace that. I think they'll find a way. There's really, Bill, to be honest with you, there's nothing that in the offensive line where I don't think that we can field a better offensive line than half the teams on the football field just because of development with Coach Stoutland. I have so much faith, unequivocal faith in Coach Stoutland. I'm not concerned at all. And that's like good, very well said, Keneal. Musa Amalo, the center. It still would be different, but that's somebody that's athletic that can get out there. I really don't have a concern. We would like to draft Kelsey's direct replacement. If he does decide to put it up, this will be his last shot. I think he's been in the league now 9 years, going on 10.
I don't know.
That time. It's up there. It's so I'm concerned, but I'm not as concerned as the Jalen Hurts pick. I'll tell you that.
yeah, definitely. For me personally, knowing what Jason Kelsey does for this offense, I've been concerned about center for years, and that's just me. And that's because it's tough to fill in the shoes of a player like that. It's tough to really find. For the past several years, I've been looking for center prospects that can do similar, or someone who can has similar traits that can be groomed. It's really tough to find. It's really difficult. It's rare to find someone that can do everything that Kelsey does at that high of a level. In this draft, I feel like the best player that could have been groomed down the line was Nick Harris, but even he had concerns because he's smaller than Kelsey's already small.
Yeah,
Nick Harris is smaller. Okay,
wow.
So you already got questions about his ability to anchor, and hold up in pass protection on his own. But he had the other stuff. He had great movement ability, great in the second level of defense, great pulling, zone rushes, and he's really tough and very highly intelligent. That's why, despite his size, a lot of people gave him 3rd, 4th round grades. I gave him a 4th round grade, but he went to, I believe he went to the Redskins or something. I think
so.
Yeah, so it's really tough. I think that can you? I forget how you. I don't know how to pronounce your name. So if we butcher it, we really apologize. But I'm going to say Keneal. Keneal's comment about moving Sam Malo to center is exactly what they would do at this point. Yeah. I know we have concerns about his ability snapping the ball because that was an issue last year or in 2018 when he was being groomed. But I think he's cleaned that up a little bit. So that would be their plan, to move Sam Malo to the middle. And then, have all the other pieces fall in place. You're right on the money when it comes to Prince Tega, is that he's too big. He's a guard tackle. Driscoll, interior guy. He played tackle, but at the pro level, he won't be able to hold up at tackle. So he is an interior guy, like mainly a guard. He'd have to learn a lot to be able to play center position. So he's not ready.
How we want them to play center. What? That's different. Like I also saw Anthony Ada say that Prince did play some center, but it's not just playing the position to play the position. It's really how we envision the center. It's almost think of everything as a fit. And then, Kevin, if you can enlighten us as to
Yeah,
your
first I
answer.
just want to thank Bill for asking me the question personally. Um, so the Patriots also have issues at center, less age, more injury. They had David Andrews last year go out all season being hurt, who was Pro Bowl, Pro Bowl. He ran that same type of position Kelsey's in with the Eagles. We had an Andrew who was out. We ended up drafting Dustin Woodard with our last pick in the seventh, I believe. So, it'll be interesting to see if Andrews comes back. It's just now coming out that he had career-ending injury and not just necessarily a season-ending. He was contemplating retirement versus multiple surgeries. So it will be interesting to see, especially having now a young quarterback in Stidham, having that building that relationship up again, whoever snapping to him, or I'd rather not have both go down. A quarterback learning a line versus a young line who's inadequate and having a quarterback learn around that as far as movement goes. So that will be interesting and great question, Bill.
So Prison 280 says, can we all agree no team fan base can claim to have won or lost the draft until 3 years down the road? As much as we assume players are going to work out, the jury's still on everybody. This is true.
That's very true.
To a point.
Yeah, you can wait to hold out your grade on players, but you can still grade the process of drafting them. You get what I'm saying?
Not so much even the process. I wasn't going to. That's a very good point, Chucks. But also to the fact of when you look at a team and their culture and their trends and their successes, and you just see a team that constantly, no matter who's in charge, who's the quarterback, they just have it when it comes to certain positions. Like I know Julio, he just made a comment about Kelsey, but before that, he stated that not worried about this team, the Eagles drafting linemen because they always have an influx of linemen. I agree. I'll be honest to say, this is going to sound contradictory to what I've been saying about Jalen Hurts all day. The Eagles generally don't get it wrong at the quarterback position. They're great quarterback position evaluators. They usually have a very good quarterback room. They always have a very good backup quarterback as well, for whatever reason.
Thorson. Let's just not remember that.
Yeah, that doesn't count. There's always exceptions to the rule. But I look at the team like the Ravens. They sat there at 28. They took Patrick Queen. All right. They needed a middle linebacker. If there's any holes in their defense, it was middle linebacker. So let's not go out and get one that's physical, is an all versatile linebacker, can cover as well as be run supportive. So then what I expected the Ravens to do that. I wasn't expecting to do in the second round what they did. We saw them have a very good, the best running game in the league last year. Running attack from Lamar Jackson to Mark Ingram. I'm forgetting the third guy as well behind Ingram, but it was also like everywhere. They went out and made a strength stronger by picking up J.K. Dobbins. So when you see teams like that can make a strength stronger, we also saw with San Francisco 49ers at 16. Who would have thought they traded DeForest Buckner for the 13th pick, right? They trade back. They swap with Tampa Bay. Then they sit here at 14, and what do we do? I was just joking. If I'm not mistaken, bro, though, I was on the show saying, I'm thinking they're taking Javon Kinlaw here. I said, I wouldn't be surprised. And what do you know? They took Javon Kinlaw. The defensive line was the strength of their team last year, and they just made it even stronger with a controllable contract. So when you have teams these aren't teams that are picking at the top of the round that are lackluster. These are teams that already had success, were either in the conference championship games or in playing on divisional round weekend or playing in the Super Bowl, and they realize that window of opportunity is small. You know what I mean? So when we get into winners and losers, the team that I think that had one of the best drafts that is picking in the top end of the round, that didn't have a great season, but won 6 of the last 8 games that nobody talks about, and that's the Jets. I think, and we see Joe Douglas, his first year in as GM, running that team, and what kind of draft that he had. So Mekhi Becton, Denzel Mims, Ashton Davis, already having Jamal Adams. Another, make the strength stronger. You already got Jamal Adams. You can't trade him. He's going to be there. Hell, let's draft Ashton Davis as well. Put 3 safeties on the field with Greg Williams' defense. Got to deal with it. What can you do? Let's make our strength strong.
Yep, absolutely. I think that we'll segue into around the league and draft winners and losers in a second, but to bring all of that to bring everything and conclude the Eagles draft. Let's talk about just a few other picks. Kayvon Wallace, the safety.
Love it.
I really like that value. We talked about it. I was leaning more toward a center fielder, a single high guy. But if you're talking about someone, if you want to shore up that strong safety, versatile piece, kind of someone that you want to mold to be what Malcolm Jenkins was, if Mills and Parks don't work out, Kayvon Wallace is a really decent pick. I think he can be a really good player. Any more thoughts on Kayvon?
Nah, I like it. Good value there. Had a second round grade to get him at 127. I like it a lot.
Yep. The other picks we got. Let me talk real quick about the Davion Taylor pick at the 3rd round. I want to make this clear because if you guys saw my mock draft article, I wanted Davion Taylor. I love this kid's upside.
Yes.
Love his athleticism. I like the player a lot. I do not like picking him at where we got him because he is a project. Everyone that loves his speed and say he's ready to play now, the only way he's playing now is because our linebacking core sucks. That's the only reason why he's going to see starting time here. He is not ready, and that's not his fault. He didn't play high school football, or he played like 1 game, I think, because of religious reasons, and then he only played, I think, like 2 years in college football after transferring from JUCO. So he is very raw. He does not know the position well enough yet to be a starter. That's why I valued him as like a 4th, 5th round grade, not 3rd round. So I did not like where they took him, but I really like the pick there. I like the player of Davion Taylor. What do you think, Pete?
Yeah, I know. Definitely. Davion with the linebacker position. They also addressed it as well. We get the Sean Bradley, local kid from Temple. I like the pick. I like the speed. And when you couple that with Sean Bradley, it's like they have a direction that they want to go at the linebackers position. And to be honest, the position is so thin. These kids are going to have every opportunity to really earn playing time and be on the field because there's really nothing there in front of them. To be honest, there's no one there in front of them. So, I mean, Sean Bradley can come and start middle linebacker. What do you think Taylor's better at, strong side or weak side?
Weak side. He's a space player. The thing is, like, my issue with it is, and Julio Vargas, I agree with you. Akeem Davis-Gaither is the same mold of player, but more pro-ready. So I felt like he would have made sense in the 3rd, and if you want to double dip at linebacker, Taylor would have been there in the 4th or the 5th round. That's where my issue is, but I still love the player, Davion Taylor. I'm excited for him. We talked about Kayvon already. Who was the other guy? Oh, Jack Driscoll. We kind of talked about he's going to be Big V's replacement, kind of. Him and we talked about he's going to be more of an interior guy, but I like what he brings right now as depth. Because if you want to bring him in and plug him in for a game or two for depth reasons, I think he's ready to do that now. But in terms of a full-time starter, he needs time. But I really like that pick in the 4th.
Real quick, Fever Realty. Shout out, man. Thank you for checking us out. We appreciate that. Did the Lions surprise you with their draft? I had to go back. I remember the first 2 picks, but hard pressed. I had to go back and take a look at the rest of the draft. And I mean, they invested a lot. It tells me if I'm looking at just their picks, it kind of surprises me a little bit because I felt like they had a couple more holes on the defensive side. They're not happy with Gerard Davis as the middle linebacker. Obviously, they traded Darius Slay, so they replaced him with Jeff Okudah. So that's a swap there. What's surprised about the DeAndre Swift pick, especially with the running back they have, the kid out of Auburn. I guess his name is escaping, but he went down with an injury last year. Kerryon Johnson.
Yeah, Kerryon Johnson.
Swift's comp for me was more of an Alvin Kamara type. So I mean, Kerryon Johnson being the thumper, I could see the 1-2 combo working. The one that's standing out, 5th round, Quintez Cephas. when you already have Kenny Galladay, you already have Marvin Jones. Cephas is not a guy that I had as far as I would not see the Lions with him as a need there. As a fit for a wide receiver, I think they would need more of a slot guy, more of a guy that could be in and out of his routes and get route running. Not the fastest. I would have been much more comfortable if the Lions go in the 5th round. If they go James Prochet, kid out of SMU there instead of a Quintez Cephas. I think that would have complemented your wide receiver core a little bit better. Because I think Kenny Galladay, if I'm not mistaken, is definitely going to be a franchise tag player for next year.
Yep. And then to wrap up, just real, I don't want to get to Eileen's question.
Oh no, that's all. Yeah, leave it there.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on the rest of the Eagles' day 3 picks before we move on to around the league, Pete?
Nah, I'm shocked that they went wide receiver, but I like it.
Yeah, I really like Hightower. As a I think I think he's going to be good as a role player, depth guy who can fill in. I love his speed. He's just a little thin framed. Yeah, and he body catches a lot. People were going to talk about Hamler and body catching. It's the same thing with Hightower. He's got to fix that. But for the value wise, I had him on the 4th round grade. We got him in the 5th. So I really like that a lot. So I love what they did on day 3. Even though that Hurts pick, it's not enough for me to say they saved the draft. But at least they did make the most out of it with day 3. So I love what they did day 3 and day 1. Day 2, we'll see how it pans out.
It doesn't exist. That's the day that should not be named.
Yeah. All right, Kev. So before we go to around the league, let's transition with this question that Eileen KFC1 poses to you. Did you watch any of the draft?
Yeah, I did watch. I did watch most of it. In the background. I had my alerts on as far as through our channels as they go. Just to see who is taken. I know that we did not draft a quarterback, but we did take 2 undrafted quarterbacks to fill in holes. I do know that the plan was to take a quarterback, either in Hurts, who they did like, or see how far Fromm could fall to them. But personally, I don't. Would I like them to take a quarterback? Sure. Do I think there's any quarterback that was a true fit to what the system is now? No, I really don't think so. I don't think that there was a good fit to go up and go get somebody. I think anyone would have been in a transition anyway. So if you're going to try to move pieces around, this is not the year to do it. With the second, third least amount in cap space this year, and then looking at over $100 million next year, I'm okay with not taking a quarterback and building on the pieces around it. You build on the defensive side of the ball, taking a safety in the second, 2 linebackers. So I'm okay with that. If you're going to tell me that you're going to go to the defensive side and add to an already top tier defense and work with a middle grade quarterback, I mean, I'm not happy about it, but I get where they're going. I mean, Belichick is the guy that stopped Jim Kelly and the K gun, so I do have faith and build around a defense and go win a championship with it. Am I saying they will? No. Do I think they can still be competitive without taking a quarterback and having a top defense? Yes, I do. How far that takes them, we'll see. And no, we're not going to get Lawrence next year. The Patriots, Rob, absolutely not. They cannot do bad enough. Would I want them? Absolutely. But do I think that that's a possibility? No. I still think that they're a playoff contention team. So there's no way the Patriots do that bad to get that pick first overall.
They're going to pull a Ditka, and they're going to trade the whole draft for Lawrence. You know that. So that's what's going to happen. And Bills, that's what's going to happen.
I mean, I'm okay with that. If it's trading everybody to go get him, sure. If I take my picks to go up and get the guys, then sure, maybe. But the consensus around the league is, the Patriots are going to tank for Lawrence. That's just not going to happen. And that is by far this thing Belichick's mindset. He is every year is a championship year type guy, and you would have to beat out teams like Crumb's Dolphins and the Jets to go down there to get that first pick. So that won't happen.
All right. Well, we'll save the Dolphins talk for next week when we talk with Chrome, because I'm sure he has a lot to say about the Dolphins draft. So I want to save them because I think they did some really good stuff. I want to save them for next week. But let's go around the panel. Well, before Kenny does ask a question, what do you all think about signing Clay Matthews, all-pro linebacker, can develop our linebacking draftees? I'm out on Clay. He's too old, and as we saw as he was in LA with the Rams last year, he's lost several steps. So I would be out. I get your point about wanting to groom guys, but if we're going to go with that, I'd rather have someone that still has a little bit of ability, and someone like a Nigel Bradham would make sense. I would be all for re-signing him and bringing him back over a guy like Clay Matthews.
I'm out on Clay, but I do think that the Eagles may sign another veteran defensive player, and I actually think I would prefer them to go corner, and because I just think we need another outside corner, a veteran outside corner, and it may not be the most sexiest name, it may not be somebody that everybody would agree with, but I mean, I wouldn't mind taking a flyer at Prince Amukamara, really, to be honest with you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You kidding me?
He's still out there as a free agent. So, I mean, that's somebody that the Eagles can definitely take a look at. I mean, push come to shove, if they're looking at adding linebacker depth at that point. I mean, Clay really traditionally played in most 3-4 defenses, and us being a 4-3.
Yeah.
I just don't think he has that frame. And now, if you say Clay, you want to come in and you want to play on the edge and put him in a NASCAR package, just add him for depth, and maybe he can put a couple of pounds on if he wants to, but just go get quarterback. I'd rather see him in a role like that. I don't think we need to see him as a linebacker. I mean, at that point, you might as well bring back Nigel Bradham on a dirt cheap deal.
Yep.
I'm not sure about the legal aspect of this. What about Michael Kendricks?
Isn't he going to trial? But we don't know. His trial was supposed to be last month or this month, but we don't know.
So if he's allowed to play, you bringing him back?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean,
he was the most athletic linebacker we had. We haven't replaced him yet.
Yeah, we
won a Super Bowl with him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind. I mean, as long as everyone in the locker room is okay after he threw everyone under the bus, during Hard Knocks, it's fine. All right, so let's go around the panel. I mean, Kev, I don't know if you did your homework and put together some teams that really impressed you during the draft. So we'll go to you last just in case. But Pete, we'll go just name one team at a time. We'll bounce some feedback off of it that really impressed you. You felt had a great draft, or you personally really liked what they did.
The Saints, I hate to say it. I think they hit it out of the park again. And then finding tremendous value. They needed a linebacker. Demario Davis is getting a little up there in age, and to identify Zach Baum, who we thought maybe the Patriots, if they stayed at 23, would take, to get him at 74 is tremendous value. They know what fits them so well. To have an off season like they've had, and then also in their later draft picks as well, team fit needs. I know we want to hold it to next week, but I won't go in detail. I love the Dolphins draft, what they did, getting Burita as well. I love that. And Denver too, man. Listen, I know Elway can't draft quarterbacks, but listen, Drew Lock, you can't ask for more weapons. Phillip Lindsay, Melvin Gordon in your backfield, Noah Fant, your tight end. And now you got Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler, and Jerry Jeudy. And the air is already thin up there anyway. And weed is legal. Like, what else you know what I mean? Like, you can't do anything else. Like, Drew Lock, everything is for you on a silver platter. Go out there and make it happen.
Yeah, oh God, he's what the Broncos did, surrounding him with that, that talent. That's a scary one. I personally would be more scared of Sutton, Jeudy, and Hamler than I am of the Cowboys trio of Amari.
Because they're all different.
They're all different. Yes. Yeah. Not to knock what to The Cowboys trio is still scary. I'm just saying, like, that's how much I love what the Broncos did for Locke. It's reminiscent of what Howie did in the offseason of 2017, just surrounding Carson with weapons and offensive help. Howie, what's up?
You want me to read you their current offensive starters, the Broncos?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So anyone they're sleeping on the Broncos, here you go. Their quarterback, Drew Lock. The two running backs, Phillip Lindsay and Melvin Gordon. Everyone forgets they picked up Melvin Gordon.
Well, they also have a third running back that's pretty good in Royce Freeman, too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Three top wide receivers, Sutton, Judy, Hamler, and then Noah Fant, tight end.
Mm-hmm.
And their line is stacked. Everything
together, yes.
A stud first round or second round. It's stacked. And their defense is obviously very good. So it's literally, if Drew Lock takes that next step, watch out.
Yeah. The Broncos did amazingly well. I think it goes without saying, I think that the Ravens, obviously, to me, they had the best draft because they went like they saw what the teams before them were doing, reaching for players, and they were just like, all right, we'll take the better player at that position. Like almost every pick was great. Like, and what they did, drafting, getting their linebackers and, just, oh my God, they got Duvernay and Prochet on day 3. Amazing return on a haul of wide receivers they got there. We know about Queen. I love what they did. To me, they were the top. But also, I loved what the Panthers and Browns did. Panthers went all defense, and people were asking me, like, how could you put them up there if they went all defense and didn't address offense? But the thing is, it's Matt Rule's first year. Yep. He has a long leash. There's no rush to build the team. He wants to build the team the right way. And if he wants to build that defense first, then by all means. I mean, they got Teddy and they got Robbie Anderson in free agency. And they have, obviously, they re-signed CMC. So they have pieces on offense. They wanted to rebuild that defense. And look at what they got on defense. I mean, you have Derek Brown, the top interior defensive lineman, and absolutely a tier 1 player in this draft. Second round, they got Yetur Gross-Matos, who was projected to be a first-round pick, an explosive edge player. And then they got Jeremy Chin to play their movable piece, strong safety type player, who I wanted. And then they got in the 5th round from the XFL, Kenny Robinson. And people might not realize that Kenny Robinson, 1 year with the XFL, he was, he got in trouble with academia at school. There was issues with his schooling. So he left and went to the XFL, and he was a standout free safety in the XFL and then entered this draft. So you're talking about possibly your safety duo, your tandem in Chin and Kenny Robinson. And they drafted in the 4th round Troy Pride, who was an athletic corner. Like, that's building a defense on all 3 levels. That's phenomenal. And the Browns, I know they're the Browns. I know that, chances are they will screw their season up somehow, but I look at each of their picks. Jedrick Wills, 1st round. 2nd round, Grant Delpit. 3rd round, Jordan Elliott and Jacob Phillips. 4th round, Harrison Bryant. 5th round, Nick Harris. That's where Nick Harris went. He went to the Browns. Nick Harris in the 5th round. And then Donovan Peoples-Jones, the wide receiver, who had a monster combine, and everyone from Michigan saying that the team was just bad and he will be a better pro than a college player. They got him in the 6th round. That's a great haul. So I love what the Browns did
Top
too.
100 player too. Yeah.
Oh my God. So high upside guy in the 6th round. I really, really like what they did as well. So those 3 teams stand out to me. And of course, we got the Cowboys did really well. Broncos. I like what the Niners did with limited picks, especially in the 1st round. I like what the Colts did in the 2nd round a lot. Michael Pittman and Jonathan Taylor. Oh my God, Jonathan Taylor behind the offensive line is sick. And then the Chiefs, what they did with Clyde Edwards-Helaire and then all the other picks. I know they got the one Lucas Niang, the tackle. Great value there. I really like what the Chiefs did. There are a lot of teams that did well. Jags, Jets, Vikings, Cardinals. They did really, really well. So I don't want to neglect them, but those to me, those are all teams that really came out as winners in this draft. Kevin.
Yeah, for me, my three teams were teams that you guys already kind of hit on. The big, the more obvious one for me, the Saints, for a guy that we didn't name, and we center, local kid. I think that you give a older quarterback a little bit more time by now having a movable piece because he can now go. They drafted a center last year, so if he's not your starting or role playing center on and off, you can move him to guard. He did that, I believe it was 5 or 6 games or so. He has taken snaps there, so I like that piece there. Give a more spread out offense, more time to get downfield to get the ball. The Panthers, the exact opposite, like you mentioned, going all defensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love that because you already have CMC, you already had a couple younger receivers, and now a brand new quarterback within the system. You let that gel before you really know what you have. Plus, you have to combat the Buccaneers, who went all offense as far as free agency, adding Gronk and Brady. You have the Saints with Breeze and Thomas, obviously, and then Julio, who's always going to be a deeper threat. So you add that back end to not need offensive pieces as much, which is always a plus. And then with the Broncos, I mean, without a question, a scary offense now, as long as Locke can be a lock, for lack of a better word, and actually get the ball into that into his receiver's hands, and you get the timing down with these guys, something that he kind of missed before, which made them lean on their run game. And barring Lindsey being any other injuries this year, I think that they'll definitely be a team to reckon with.
Absolutely. Dank Burrito. This is what we wanted to. I definitely want to talk about. I wanted to.
This is how to annihilate your quarterback.
Well, this is. I think we're gonna have a good discussion. We got 10 minutes before Tommy Boy comes on with his announcement, but we'll leave this as the finishing topic before we get there. But I know there are a lot of people don't like what they did. The Packers.
Mm-hmm.
First, let's address their first round pick, and then I'll get into everything else. But what is your opinion? Them trading up to take Jordan Love as the future.
I understand it. I'm not. In the context, if you're looking at it from Aaron Rodgers' perspective, you hate it. But if you're looking at it from the Packers' perspective, it's like, okay, because Matt LaFleur, this is going to be a second year there. He got the team to the NFC Championship game, so he got himself some stock and some value in that already, to where he feels like he's going to be around for a while. And the Packers generally, we see with Mike McCarthy. Congratulations, Dallas. Mediocrity, it takes them a while before they move on. They just won't do that. So I get it. I don't know the trading up part for him. I don't get, but some of the picks after that kind of question me, especially when Rodgers publicly came out and said, like, I wish we haven't drafted a skill player in the first round. But that's kind of like, that's also due to Rodgers as well, because he's so freaking good when he's on. He makes Greg Ward type-esque receivers look really, really good. So, yeah. I mean, and if you're evaluating, if I'm a GM, I'm like, well, it really doesn't matter. We just got to have some capable talent at the wide receiver position, because Aaron is just so good. But what do we do with life after Aaron? Because let's not kid ourselves. This is his 15th year, 16th year in the league. He was drafted in 05.
Like 37 or something like that, give or take.
Yeah, I mean, and we've already seen he's not the same quarterback he was 2 years ago. So, I mean, the arm is there, but he just doesn't have that escapability anymore to extend plays. I wish they would have invested more in the offensive line, because their line is getting a little older. But their draft, I mean, the Love pick is just, I don't hate it. I can see that pick more, and why they did it more than why I could see a Jalen Hurts pick in the second round, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Marcus Murray, he says if you approve the Packers pick but hate the Eagles pick, you're contradicting yourself. I don't agree because Carson is 27 and
Yes.
Ed Rodgers is like 10 years older. You have to start planning for the future. I had, if you guys remember, 2 weeks ago we did perfect fits, and I had Jordan Love going to the Packers as my perfect fit because I just feel like I think we have to realize that the Packers, they've gone from having Favre for all those years and then transitioning seamlessly into Aaron Rodgers, even though he had to wait a couple years. So they want to be able to transition again seamlessly with their next quarterback.
Yep.
Now, you can argue that he still has years left, and maybe he does. Maybe he does. But I heard that somewhere they said that Rodgers has said he doesn't want to play into his 40s. He doesn't want to do that. I don't know how true that is. I don't know what context, but I have heard that. So if he doesn't want to play into his 40s, you got to kind of start considering the look planning beyond him. Now, if it was for a quarterback that was like Jacob Eason or something like that, whose upside wasn't really that high, then I would hate it. I would totally hate it. Yeah. However, Jordan Love has the physical ability to be a real good player. However, he needs time and development. He needs a lot of time and development. So,
Marcus, what do you mean? Like Rodgers has missed chunks of time. It's been 4 years for Wentz.
Yeah, Rodgers has been hurt.
What I just it's what have you done for me lately? I swear people don't forget that he played 16 games last year. I digress. As you were, Chuck. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so like no, you're 100% right. And like when you have an opportunity to get a quarterback who has the physical talent of Jordan Love.
Yes.
I can understand it, and I completely understand it because if you wait until Aaron Rodgers, retires, and then you're left without a quarterback, a franchise quarterback for God knows how long, because you don't know when you're going to be able to get one or, be able to draft your franchise guy. Why not take at the tail end of the first round? Because it's not like you're passing up on top tier players. Tail end of the first round, you have a guy whose upside is really, really high. When are you going to have another chance to take a quarterback with that type of upside when it's sitting right there on your lap? Trade up and get him and take a flyer on him to see if you can develop him to be that next guy. And then Rodgers, your transition from Rodgers to Love is as seamless as it was from Favre to Rodgers. I completely get it. I do. I might be in the minority. I really like what they did from a team perspective. Aaron Rodgers' perspective, I completely understand hating it because you believe you still have something left and you wanted a weapon and they didn't get one. And this is what I have a problem with. I love their pick for Jordan Love. I hated everything else they did after that. I hated everything else. So if you want to trash them because their picks from 2 all the way down were horrible, I agree. But I like the first round pick. They screwed up after the first round. That's my opinion. You still could have gotten receivers, really good receivers in the other rounds, but you didn't. You drafted in the second round AJ Dillon, who is a one-dimensional guy. And you got him in the second round. You could have had someone else more talented. You could have went second and third round wide receiver, something like that. But that's where they messed up, not the first round pick. Kevin.
Yeah, I would be the first to admit, teams obviously need to have contingency plans in place, and obviously now being living proof of that, not having one necessarily fits well in New England, having nothing really behind Brady, but so I get the Packers going out and getting a quarterback to fill that role, but to me, the value is just not there. I think what you're going to have to coach him up to be to make the seamless fit could be 2 to 3 years, giving it into consideration, where he's at now and where Rodgers is at and how much time he has to play. So I would say to make it, to make a Montana to Young, a Favre to Aaron, a to Love type move, I think that's 3-year window. Now, for me, that 3-year window, if I was to say, I think there was something else they could have done. I think they could have helped out by adding, a receiver in there in the meantime.
Yes.
To me, that tells me that you don't really plan on winning until 3 years because you didn't help the quarterback that you already have out. So you telling me that you're going to go get receivers in the next 3 or the next 2 rather to be good again in 3 years, versus if you look at teams that are doing in the Patriots, okay, didn't necessarily have a quarterback to be, no one's obviously going to be Brady level good, but at least,
Wow.
tier B level good. You don't go out and get anybody, so you have to live with it. But what else did you do around it? You went out and you got that to help out underneath. You went out and you built the defense behind it to stop anything that your offense can't put up. I don't see the Packers doing anything like that. So for me, that's the question mark on the pick, not the talent and value where it's at, but the fit within the team that you're bringing him into. I think it's just too soon to make that type of move.
And I'm shocked that they didn't take any flyers on any wide receivers at all. So but this is the team that was in the NFC Championship game last year. Do they feel as if they were there by chance? I mean, do they feel as if they really don't have a legit shot to be a legit contender? And yeah, like Marcus says, he says Rodgers has only done 1 touchdown pass to a first-round pick. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. They must really like the guys they already have there.
I don't, and that's the thing. Like, you can still give him talent, or you could have, and still drafted Love in the first round. That's my argument. Is you totally botched rounds 2 to 7. Yeah. You have weapons. There were weapons there they could have drafted. So that's where they really messed up this draft. Not round 1. Round 1, Jordan Love is a prospect you should take because you don't know what you can get. If it works out, then you have your next franchise quarterback after Rodgers, who has unbelievable ability. So, he needs time to develop. So why not take him now and give him that time to develop? So I get it. But, where they really messed up was the second rounds 2 to 7. Before we transition over to the big guy, are there any more quick thoughts on the draft? Any other teams that stood out to you? Any other players or picks that you feel are winners in the situations that they went to?
Situations that they went to?
Yeah, like the teams that they had drafted to, or you feel are deal. So, what players do you feel are winners in that regard?
Jonathan Taylor, we already kind of talked about him going to Indianapolis Colts. I love that. I like Mims going to the Jets as well. Can be there. I like Becton being there as well. Sam Darnold. I mean, it was a lot of teams that improved their stock. I mean, I hate to say this, but CD Lamb to Dallas, man. Like, the biggest irony in this, and we can get to the big guy, is Dallas's offense is going to be so potent. It was already the top scoring offense in the league last year, as it was. Now you add CD Lamb. Guess what, Jerry? Dak is just going to get more expensive. That's all that's going to happen.
Pay him 40. Pay him 40 million.
His numbers are going. Dak is back there like, it makes my job even easier.
Yeah,
even easier. So that's the only iron listen, man. If they play if their talent matches what they have on the field and they're able to put it together, I mean, they may be hoisting the Lombardi whenever we start football again because their offenses are just that good.
We'll see what Mike McCarthy can do with them. I still have my doubts about Mike McCarthy, so that's my argument when it comes to Dallas. I don't know if they can pull it together. And plus, I really like the corners they took in Diggs and Reggie Robinson. I think that's their CB1, CB2. However, they still need a safety, and they don't have a pass rusher opposite D-Law yet. That's what they passed up. They want to take Lamb. They passed up on Chason. And they don't have a safety either. So there are still holes in that defense. It's going to be when you face Dallas, it's going to be a shootout. That's what it's going to come down to. The two players that I wanted to point out real quick are, you guys already know, Clyde Edwards-Helaire to Kansas City. He was my favorite player in this draft, and I was preaching him to go to the Chiefs. I'm so glad he did. Round 32. I mean, not round 30. Pick number 32 in the first round. Andy Reid got his guy. I'm telling you, he is going to be a monster with the Chiefs. If you play fantasy football, grab him. I'm telling you, grab him. And then Brandon Ayuk. What did I say about the Niners? Kyle has a type. He has a type when it comes to wide receiver. Brandon Ayuk fits that type to a T. I really like Ayuk's potential. I like
Pierre Garçon S. That's what that's when I look at I look at Ayuk, Pierre Garçon.
Yes, absolutely. All right, guys. So we're going to now transition and bring in the big guy, the daddy,
the big guy,
the boss, Tom Arnold.
The raspy one.
The raspy one. What's going on, Dad? You there? Oh, I think technical difficulties. All right. There he is. Oh, mic muted.
Turn your mic on. He's speechless for the first time.
Yeah. First time for everything, I guess.
I'm really curious what this announcement is. I don't know.
Listen, fam, we have no idea. This is news to us.
Yeah.
So you're hearing it first, just like we are.
Yeah, you are absolutely going to get it. Yeah, there you go.
Yo,
what's up, big guy?
I threw this out of the way because I thought I had it off, and then it turned off on me. And the struggle became real. Struggle's gonna become real for a lot of people soon here. A lot of people that will hear this. Well, not a lot of people, but the two that will hear this and whatever people they're associated with. Because I didn't even want you guys to be a part of this massacre that's about to go down right now. Because I don't want to bring anybody a part of this. But like,
I feel like it's gonna.
But it's like all
Should
our
I go
work.
get some popcorn?
Yeah, because it's all our work, right? And it's anybody's work. So you can come here and you can do shows here and you can leave for whatever reason you want. But when you leave, as Guy 1 did, because you're a clown and nothing you say makes any sense. So like it's about disagreements are fine here at A2D. We all disagree with each other half the time. That's what makes it fun. But when you're an idiot and you're a moron and you're selfish and you're clueless, that's a separator. That's a difference maker that we don't even want to talk to you. Right? You alienate yourself when you're that much of an idiot. Okay, and then you go to guy number 2. And guy number 2 wanted to come here, do a show for half a second, had me come do shows up at his place up at Fox Sports Albany. Cool, AM. I did a couple call-ins, whatever. Then I guess he meant Kyle, and Kyle put whatever crap in Zach's head. And now these two are now a little team, and they're trying to do a little podcast. And if you scroll down their page, which I'm not going to give a credit for, but if you scroll down their page, it's very similar. It's eerie, but that's fine because we're just going to work harder and we're going to grow it better for you. Because when people want to listen, this is why we're going to win Super Bowls here. Because when people put a little pressure and competition, which is not competition, let me clarify this real quick. It's zero competition, but I like to look at stupid shit like this as competition. So let's act like it is for a second. So all we're going to do is we're going to work a little harder. But when I got zero time is for, and then it's like people are actually going to watch it, and he took and all the shots taken. But you're going to use stuff you did here for whatever amount of time, all right, and then you're going to use it for yourself. And then for the guy Zach, like when I called up and did your shows up in Albany, they're on the AM, probably your most listened to. You know what I mean? I'm probably your best ones, if I had to be real with you. And maybe it's a shot that you're just not good enough. I don't know. But whatever it can be. Or some guys are just high-winded and can get it out quicker. I don't know. I can't tell you. Or just smarter. But what I do know is it tells me a lot when you see all the nonsense that went on with that guy, and then you choose his side. You go to him and go, please, because the first show you did here, somebody crucified you. You never did one again. You know what I mean? And that's fine. But now you're going to team up with a crumb, a piece of garbage, a guy that if you ever showed up to my house, I won't fight nobody. Everybody's coming in and we're getting the best Edmonds out, right? But I will fight him. You understand? Like everybody that comes to my house, no matter what tension we had in the past, oh, you want to eat some? Let's eat some. Let's break some bread together. Right? Anybody but that one person. If you ever showed up to my house, I'm going away. And I might do 20, and it's fine because A2D will strive from it because I'll be live on the Ring doorbell. So it's all good. It's all gravy here. So I want the smoke. I want you to tell people bad things about me and A2D. I want you to because the 18 guys that have been here forever. So anything you say bad won't won't equal anything. It has no weight. It would only have weight if everybody at A2D despised me and despised each other. Then it would hold weight when nobody ever stayed. The only people that go are people that really have to for reasons or morons. That's it. There's no in between. It's either selfish guys that think they can do it on their own and they'll never succeed at it, all right, because you're late to the party, or it's guys that really have to step away. It's one of the two. And I got you two figured out, all right? And one wanted to make an excuse, and that's fine. And you didn't join right away together. But out of all the people, what guy with zero football knowledge going to start a football-based podcast? Wow. I mean, have a little clue. The guy, I'm telling you, listen, the guy, he's a soap dropper in the joint, and that's fine. But he can't play a lickle ball.
Soap dropper.
He can't play a lickle ball. Nothing at even a decent level. Like, he could go play Pee-wee right now, and some little dude's laying him out. He'll quit because the dude, it will be a disagreement on the level of hit, so he'll end up quitting like he did on 15 different shows here because he couldn't work with nobody. That's diva talk.
Yeah.
Listen, we all got a little ego to us because we're talking sports, right? Anybody that talks sports with your friend at the bar, you get a little ego, you get a little juice, right? So that's all part of the gig. That's all part of it, all right? But when you have zero feel, that's what it comes down to. It's just zero feel. I mean, all his takes are really cold, and they're supposed to be hot, and they're to drive people to comment and make fun of them, and that's what it's all about. And guess what? He can enjoy this tirade because I'm pretty sure not that long ago he was taking shots at me that I'm the worst YouTube guy. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that means. But every time I was one-on-one with you, and there's plenty of tape of it, it was a verbal assault. Okay, that's all I'm going to say to people. You got something to say to me? Come say it. The seats are always wide open, even in a quarantine. And we can get you up here. We can get you somewhere over there. It don't matter. And I will verbally assault you for everybody that's a part of A2D Radio, not even for myself. This isn't even a public service about myself. It's a public service about everybody else's hard work here and myself. That's what the public service about. So you want to copycat shit? That means you have zero intellectual clue. That's all that means. You can't do nothing on your own. It's not a copycat league at this level. You can try to be. It's a copycat league in sports and other things. You don't copycat league. You can try to copy in a business, but not when you were somewhere. When you're somewhere, it becomes a personal vendetta now, and it becomes personal with me. So I'll make sure, because the last people that did this was about 3.5 years ago. We all had 4,000 followers at the time. Guess where ours are now as a total? Theirs are at 7. Just take a stab at it, okay? Because if people want to do this, we're going to just stop. We're going to be Gatorish. We're going to be Henderson in the first round of Jacksonville. That's what we're going to be. Let's go. That's all I got to say. I could probably go on for another hour about
Henderson in the first round.
Oh, that was fun.
That was fun to listen
You
to.
told me, Chuck. I'm here.
It's a brotherhood, man. Like, fam, I can't stress to y'all enough, man. All the shows that get presented to you, we are in chats every day, man, talking not just sports, but we're talking about each other's, the care that we have for each other. It's a brotherhood, man. It's really a fraternity. It's a fan for real. We let you guys in, you guys comment, and we appreciate that. So when you cross one of us, man, you really, we don't even have to do anything. Like, at some point, there's other people in here that will get riled up for us. I can already imagine how other people in the fam are already feeling right now, because you turn your back on one of us, you turn your back on all of us. You know what I mean? Absolutely. There's a right and wrong way to go about doing things, and some people just choose to go about it the wrong way.
And said all of us suck.
And
our worst guy, I don't know who that is, but our worst, if there is one, is better than anything he's ever done. You know what I mean? Like, our worst on their worst day, if there is a worst, is better than anything he's ever done. So I don't know who he's talking about.
But that's why that quote that he said before really resonated with me, because being here since 2017 with Chrome coming on and meeting all you guys and everything, I haven't met a person in the ATD crew and ATD family that doesn't work hard for what they want to do. You know, all of us want to promote ourselves, because obviously you have to. You have to promote your name, but at the same time, there's not a single one of us that doesn't go to bat for each other. And every single person in this family I know works hard and knows their stuff. Every single one. So when he said something like that, I take that as a huge disrespect. Disrespect. Because I know personally, for me, I work my ass off. You can ask my wife how many nights I
Let's not start asking why, because we're in trouble.
Yeah, like studying film so that I could provide content for the fam and for everyone here, so I can see my wife's right here, just giving the thumbs up.
Very
You know,
nice.
all those sleepless nights I spend to make myself better and to provide stuff for everyone that supports and listens to us. And there are so many other guys that do the same, that put in that work. So to say that we suck and we whatever it was he said, huge disrespect.
Mhm.
And I have a huge problem with that. You cannot match any one of us when it comes to work ethic and knowledge. You can't. So for you to disrespect us like that, that doesn't sit well with me at all.
Yeah.
And you can come see me any time of day, and
Wow.
I will knock you senseless.
I love that. I love that because you're not going to hear that out of Chuck's either. You know what I mean? For no reason. We're not just going to say that. And listen, you talk about like we are a brotherhood here. We've been. You know, when you talk about like even a guy like Maddie, like when it first started, and the guys that first started, doesn't matter if you're here from you just started or you just got here. Everybody's been here for over like 2+ years at the minimum. So it's not like we got guys running in and out because we all believe in the brand and we all believe in ourselves. And at the end of the day, that if you believe in them two things, you can be successful. And I've always told Chuck from day one, dude, you got to promote yourself. It's not selfish. It's how you have to grow yourself. And guess what? It's a combo for everything. You grow yourself and it helps grow A2D because at the end of the day, we're all in it for both. But we all been here because we know that to get to where we're going to get to it together through A2D. And we've all learned that. You know what I mean? That if we all grow what we're really good at, this thing's going to keep growing. And that's what's happening right in front of our eyes from everybody that does something here. Even if you just do a show a week, it doesn't matter. If you do a damn good one, that's all that matters. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter what you do here, but it's time, it's care, right? And we've been putting shows on with nothing going on for the people, right? Because one, it's helpful for us and it's helpful for everybody out there. And we didn't want to stop through all the craziness that's going on right now. We want to do, if we can, we wanted to keep bringing it to you. So yeah, and I see that he's going in DMs asking for followers. Has it become this bad? Has it become a beg fest? Because here at A2D, all we've done is just we've grown naturally. We've grown organically. Yeah. This has been an organic growth. It hasn't been tons of money spent in the growth. It's been a tons of guys that came in to grow it. You know what I mean? Because spending money on social media is stupid unless you got $20,000 a month to spend. But that's, we want a Gary Vee talk. We can do that later. We're not in here for Gary Vee right now. But that's it. And it's just, to say them things and then to continue it when he wanted to then do a show with me, not even that long ago. I'll show you the messages. Right. And I'm nice to everybody. So I'm like, yeah, we can talk about it. And everyone's going to do it. Right. But he just reached out to me not even that long ago. And then, then a month later, you're going to start bad mouthing me again.
Yeah.
I don't take kindly to this.
And the guy we're talking about, he doesn't even really get the light of day for me to mention his name. I've never talked to you personally one-on-one. So when you encompass all of me, I'm from that cloth where, listen, dog, I ain't with all that talking. When you throw shots like that, it's just the next time I see you. I mean, and that's real. And I know where you from. You're going to think you bad because you stay up there. That don't make you tough. Where you're from, your zip code, that don't make you tough. Sitting behind the keyboard, talking about all of a sudden, that don't make you tough. As you can see, we got fan bases right here talking about drop his name. What's the podcast? That's what us even asking. So we really don't even have to do all that. You got to sit out here. You got to DM. You personally sent me an invite to the page. You know what I mean? And I thought about it because I was like, you know what? Maybe. You know what I mean? Because once again, I've never dealt with dude one-on-one at all. I never. Oh, listen, look. You done brought Chrome out the woodwork. I never dealt with dude one-on-one at all. I don't know you from a can of paint, but I know this. You keep talking that shit, something gonna happen. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I personally, I haven't been obviously with the fam as long as you guys have, but it was me an immediate act coming in, being part of the group, brought in every conversation, jumping on this show, that show, whatever it might be, agree, disagree, whatever it might be as far as the ideas go, everything always moving forward. You can argue one day, go out and get a drink with anyone on the A2D crew the very next day, same day, whatever it might be. But then to take the shots at the guys and say, hey, I can do this better than you, just because, like, no rhyme or reason behind it is absolutely absurd. We have guys that are, making videos and getting having people come up to him and ask him, hey, I really like downs. How do I do that? Or you keep making them. Or hey, I have a suggestion. I watch all your videos. Can you do this? Maybe that way, just a tidbit to fix it here or there. Or guys that are coming on the back end of it say, hey, I just made a page of my own. I want to grow to where you guys are at. Do you have any tips? It could be on just a simple post or a Twitter feed or anything like that. Their own types of breakdowns. We got the fam doing crumb of the day. Just joining in. Just because they're having fun with the page, and everything is going forward and moving on. And then you have guys like that say, yeah, never mind. Doing this trash. Whether it be the people there or the content or the takes. To me is absolutely absurd. And to call everybody out because of your own vendetta against one guy, that is a sour taste in my mouth. And I would go to bat for any one of the guys. On A2D, and whether it be sports related or not, that's just not right for me.
Yeah. Chrome,
It is.
you
What's
got
up,
the
guys?
floor.
Look who it is.
Came out.
I decided to pop in real quick for this. Listen, I'm not going to give anybody's name any recognition any time of day for anything. All I'm going to say is, you could be a part of the problem or a part of the solution. So one person decided to create the problem and continue to perpetually enhance that problem. You guys talked about a lot about it. It's a family thing, right? Like we say, I've never used the word fam before. Now it's like second nature for me because it really is that kind of a thing. You know what I mean? But whether it's been in this field or in my banking career or, other places now that my career's taken me, it's a team environment, right? Not everybody loves everybody all the time, but it's about communication and just holding everybody accountable. And unfortunately, because one spoiled brat couldn't take accountability, wasn't held accountable sometimes by us, and that's on us. He this is what he's done. He's trying to make a name for himself at our expense. I don't give him the time of day. And what's sad is, what's disappointing is, I think myself personally, and I think you guys will vouch for this, probably has been the one person to give this person the benefit of the doubt more than almost anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, and myself as well, right?
Yeah.
We were
And my name has been dragged. I mean, not like Tom's, but my name has been dragged through the mud on occasions, which shocks me. And then when I confront it, and it's like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, can't man up and own it. And I always do it in a classy way, except for that one time, you guys know, I was just like at my point where I'm like, all right, now we're taking shots. I'm going to start firing back in a heel chrome way. But
it's all about rats, right?
Listen,
it's about being a rat, and like nobody likes rats.
It's not about being a rat, man. It's about being an egomaniac. It's about being in it for yourself the whole time. Nobody's in it for us. Like, is there a selfishness? Like, we want to be awesome at this and get better at this. We want to have our own personal part in it. So like, and I think we all feel that way. So that as it continues to grow, which it has, we all feel like we had our fingerprint on it. Like, of course you do. That's what's great about being a part of a startup of anything. Mm-hmm. Whether you're at the from day one or year 3 or year 8, whatever it means, you want it wherever you're at, you want to leave a positive mark. You don't burn bridges, you leave a positive mark, to kind of, leave those relationships open. And unfortunately, some people are so desperate for attention, who openly was called out on the air by me and admitted that his takes are hot takes just to get attention. He doesn't even believe half of what he puts out there. But if he can get attention, is what he's going to do. Then that, to me, shows you the quality of the person. I'm just happy to be a part of this with you guys. The quality that you guys are, quality that everybody is here. Even the people that sometimes annoy the shit out of me sometimes, I love them like a brother. It's no different than my sisters. I have one that annoys me more than others, but I don't love them any differently. We all are like that. Sometimes we want to go at each other's throats. At the end of the day, like Tom said, we're breaking bread. and we're on to the next thing. So
you heard me and Chuck's debate when we don't agree on something.
Yeah.
All the time.
Oh my God.
Get amped up. Like we both are going to be so hard set on that we're right, and that's what sports talks about. That's what's fun about it. That's what we've been since we were little kids when we were watching sports. Right? It's always been about like, man, you see something a certain way, and you want to believe that you're right about it a certain way. It's just the way it goes. But that's where it ends. Like I do the same thing with Greg, and I love Greg like a brother, just like I love Chuck's. We yell and scream at each other if we disagree.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's fun about it. But this guy could never handle the heat. And what I don't care about is like, you want to take shots at me? You haven't heard me really respond to it, right? Like I sort of just let it go. I don't care. I'm not going to buy into it. But when I start seeing copycat like Mickey Mouse shit is when now you're going to see me respond to everything now. Because now it's like you're a snake, and I don't like snakes. I cut the head off of snakes. So what we're doing is we're cutting the head off the snake tonight because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the act. I'm tired of thinking you're the smartest guy in the room because nobody is. Okay, and I'm when it comes to sports because nobody's right 100% of the time. So nobody knows Nostradamus here. All right, so it gets old. It gets old. The takes get old, right? The I want attention, like you said, Crum, gets old. It all gets old, but bigger than that, the shots get old, and then I want to try to piggyback and look what you guys do and copy it. Yeah, people want to say, hey, Tom, that's a form of flattery. Yeah, it is. It is, sure, cool. But when it's guys that were here for a half a second and they try to do it, it's a shot. And I don't got time for that. And then everything combined in it over the last 6 months when it was over, 3 different occasions, right? That's where it just drew up, and I was seeing red before I came on here because I was sick of it. I was sick of it. I was sick of the little kid stuff, the high school stuff, because we're going to be high schoolers. I can be a high schooler too, though. I can come on and act like a high school kid, act like we're in the cafeteria, and I'll steal all your lunch money. You understand? Every dollar, and I'm going to eat like a king during that lunch break, like a king. So shut your mouth. Stop talking about anybody here because I don't care if it's about me. If you're talking about anybody here, I name of anybody, even somebody that's been here, all right? I'll come hunt you down during the quarantine. Personally do it with no mask because it's bigger than me now. It's bigger than me. Just to take you down, I want to be able to breathe right. The mask's going to I got to be able to breathe right for this ass kicking that would go on. So stop talking about anybody here. Everybody here works way harder than you work. You throw a video up, you have something that you think's a good take, and you try to run with it, and it's never good. I've never agreed with you. If I never agree with you, you're the biggest idiot ever. Because at times I might not agree with you in the moment and agree with you a day later, okay? But this one I can't. I didn't agree with. Not that I didn't agree with Chuck's on draft night, because I did to a point. I just had concerns, but I've relaxed because it wasn't the guy I wanted, and that gets in your emotions, and I have to step back. And now I'm like with Pete now. I'm right where Pete is. Like, hey, I want to love the guy anyway because he's my guy. I want to love Jalen Hurts even though I never want him to play because he's my guy. You know what I mean? So the list goes on. But at the end of the day, just try to grow your thing then, bro. Do your best. Yeah. Okay? Because I'm going to promise you one thing. Maybe you grow. Doubt it. But you'll never be bigger than what's up over there in the corner. You'll never be bigger than that. So you can try and do everything you can and copy as much as you can. Copy each other's homework, baby. I don't want to get you so far copying homework. Because at some point up here, to be a good businessman, period, needs to work a little functionality up here. There's zero. All right? And how many dudes have you gone through? Not only in the bedroom, but in the studios. Ooh, how many? We're going to take shots. I'm going to take shots. I'm going to take shots. I don't care anymore. I don't care what anybody's personal thing is. I don't care. You understand? You can like whoever you like. You can like 2 girls, 2 guys. I don't care. I'll be your best friend. You understand that? I'll be your best friend. But when you want to get personal, then let's get personal then. That's how I am. I got plenty of friends like that. That I don't care. I don't judge you. Do you? Yeah. It's your life. But when you want to take shots, then we'll get shoddy. We'll get shoddy a little bit. We'll get handsy. How many? I just want a number. I want a number because your studio obviously ones outweigh your bedroom talk ones. They obviously outweigh. I just was clarify for the people. That's all I have on that. If everything's out on the table, then out on the table. I don't care anymore. I don't care.
It's the
Who's firing me for that?
And from the blanket statements, and also this, you think that this shit just makes itself. It don't. You can see the logo. Kev made that birds of a feather by itself. That's timing. I sit here. People don't even know to peel back the curtain how chaotic my life is. And my kids, I got 4 or 5 kids running around to take time away from them to do this to bring you. It's not so much the sports. I can talk sports with anybody. The sports shits is just the foundation. The brotherhood and the fan base, they build everything else. I mean, it's the only spot where your comment will pop up on the screen, and we're gonna shout you out. First time listeners, ain't no first long time listener, first time, ain't none of that. This ain't the regular old dial. We always hear the guys talk about that. This is something different. This is new. This is, you can hop on it, but you're never gonna see one of us at all. And it's 18 of us, 20 of us, and still growing. Nobody makes a move without talking to each other first. On any show, ideas get bounced off, but you'll never see one of us come at somebody else outside of this A2D family ever without talking about it first. But guess what? If we get the green light, it ain't just one coming, it's everybody.
That was a bunch of dogs. It's a bunch of Vicks pit bulls that got away. I always say you don't want to deal with them ones because them ones are survivors. You don't want to deal with survivors. Everybody here is a survivor in some fashion. I call myself a survivor in different ways. So you're a survivor to get here. You know what I mean? To continue to grow in what you do. That makes you a fighter. That's how I look at it. When you continue to stick with something and you continue to work at something, that's a fighter. That's how I always look at that. And when you continue to want to be great at something, that's what fighters do. That's what greatness is all about. It's a never stop. It's a Mamba mentality. And I don't know. I mean, I try to treat this as just the way I played sports, aggressively. And it comes to conversation. Now, not trying to run a business aggressively, but when it comes to talking sports, aggressive, up tempo. When it comes to running a business, I got to run in a different way than I talk sports. I'm not going to go yell and scream at people I'm talking to in different fashions. But when it comes to like my boys and all us, I feel like we can yell and scream at each other all we want. People can yell and scream at me all they want. I don't care. Yell at me. Tell me I'm an idiot, please. Yeah. I need people to. It makes me feel good. So, but that guy never could get that, and some people can't. And then the other guy's just a piece of garbage because he was copying content a long time ago. I let it go. I just let it slide. And now the combo is when I just got, now the heat got a little hotter. Got a lot hotter in here. Coals were heating up. Burger time.
I'm going to say this real quick, and then I'm going to hop off. I think there's people who don't understand that there's a difference between being someone that people can respect and be able to talk real and just being an asshole for attention, right? Yeah. You can be an asshole and people will listen and people will watch because it's a car wreck, but nobody's going to have any respect for you. And that's the difference, right? Is like, we get it. We're people who, we have our own personalities, our own characters, our own diversity on this show, our own ways of conveying our messages. But in the end, people respect us because we're real people who give them real talk, who, for the most part, we treat them with respect unless they say something stupid, because they're going to say something stupid to us in the comments. If we say something stupid, they're going to hound us. So we feed it back. It's fun. It's the relationship that we build with everybody, right? There's a difference between being an asshole and everything I want to do in my life. I don't care if it's the smallest thing or the biggest thing. If it's my everyday job, if it's my A2D legacy that I leave, it's my legacy with my friends and my family. It's like, I want to be somebody who's real, who treats everybody with respect, recognizes people for the effort they put in. And that's the legacy that I want to leave behind. Some people don't care about that. That's on them. I feel really bad for them for the life that they live, because a lot of those people deep down have some deep-seated issues that they can't deal with, and that's why they need it. So I feel bad for you if that's your issue, which I'm sure it is.
One other thing, and I'm leaving McCrone. That's a great. That's spot on. And mine goes to him calling me like an egotistical dude or whatever. Go get a bite with me one time, dude. Hang out with me one time outside talking sports. Okay, yeah. Try it, and tell me if I'm the same guy talking sports. Because if you think so, then you're then you're an idiot and you don't know me at all, and you just want to assume by persona and how I talk sports. I told you a million times, I ain't in a library talking it. People, to me, how I always like sports, as I want somebody to be opinionated. I want somebody to be a little bit excited. I want some hands moving once in a while. That doesn't mean everybody has to do it. That's how I like to do it. So people can do it any way they want to. It doesn't make me better than you or not better than you. Do it how you want to. But he's just not better than anybody. But the fact of the matter is, you want to do that. Then that's where I draw the line when you start taking egotistical shots and starting to talk about my character when you don't know my character one bit. So
absolutely. See, that's the thing. There is no, listen, man. There is no fucking character, dog. There's not one dude on here that what you see is not what you don't get. And we can say that because we all done met everybody. This isn't no stick shit. The only stick shit is whatever you choose to do. So I'm just saying, man, we can talk amongst each other. We can beef with each other. We may not like each other all, and like we said, we may agree and disagree. That's between us. You can't do that. You had your right to do that. You forfeited that right when you decided to act like a little, you know what, and bounce. And now you're trying to copycat. And this is real. I didn't even know any of this shit. You feel what I'm saying? Like I knew about it, but then I didn't know what was going on tonight. So just to hear for TA to hop on tonight, he usually don't do that.
I ain't trying to interrupt anything you guys do.
Long
You feel
time.
what I'm saying? So for that to happen, nah, man. What I don't even got to know what it is. I already know I ain't vibing with it.
Absolutely.
I ain't
Tell it to
vibing
the
with it.
people real quick too. People want to know. Later, Chrome. I'm following.
Later, Chrome.
All right, Chrome, feel better,
People want
baby.
to know. I don't care. I don't care about saying names because I'm over. I don't care. People say, "Oh, you're giving these guys credit." Good. And Brian said, "Oh, they got X amount of followers." Good. They're going to stay there. That's the whole point I'm mentioning it now because I want to keep them right where they're at. I don't want them to grow a bit. I want people to know real character if you're going to take character shots at us. So for the likes of Kyle Meager and Zach Harris, enjoy doing what you do. Wish you nothing but the best of luck. But if anybody's name comes in your mouth at anybody here, there's going to be there's not going to be another verbal assault here. The verbal assaults here are done. So we'll see where it goes from there. You can take that as a threat. You can take it any way you want. You want it. You take it any way you want to. So that's live on tape. Take it any way you want to take it. Right? I'm just gonna tell you, 37. I don't fight with my hands no more. Then them days are over. You know, there's always something. There's always a gadget, right? We were talking about gadgets the other night during the draft. There's always a gadget.
Weapons.
Like I'm not gonna. It's like me a knife or a gun. I'm not. Relax. I'm not, street days are over, mate. But maybe maybe utensil, maybe a wooden spoon.
All right.
I'm out of here, boys. Great show. I'm leaving.
All right, big
All
guy.
right.
Thank you so much.
boys.
See ya. Love you, buddy. Big
Love
guy.
you guys too.
All right,
Man, that was
gentlemen.
fun.
That was fun. Aired out a lot of frustrations that have been building up. And if you are listening, you've been listening to that whole rant, we do appreciate it. And guys, I know some of the comments didn't like the they wanted sports talk, but hey, we talk sports for 2 hours straight.
Yeah.
What's 30 minutes to air out some frustrations? And if you guys know us, you know that if we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't warranted. We really wouldn't. But that's it for tonight, baby. Hey, maybe you'll get some more tomorrow. Tomorrow we've got the fix and we've got AM in the PM. Brodo on the
Combined show. Combined
Oh, it's a combined show. That's right.
Ooh.
My bad. We got that combined show with that,
Fire.
panel there. That's always some good stuff, guys. So check them out tomorrow night. They're gonna have some more draft recap talk. If you want to talk more about Jalen Hurts, Jalen Reagor, Jalen Mills, Jalen, any kind of J you want to talk about on the Eagles.
Jalen Taylor.
Jalen, yeah. Any kind of Jalen you want to talk about or anyone, they'll be talking about it tomorrow night. So definitely tune in tomorrow for their show and all the other shows later on in the week. Thank you to our sponsors, our doc Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, to Ambuck Services, Gutter Cleaning, and to QB54 for sponsoring our poll question. Pete, Kev, great conversation.
Love you, brothers, man.
Love all of you. Hey, HG fam, that goes for our panel, and it goes for all the supporters and listeners. Once again, can't say this enough. Thank you so much for your support, for listening, Jalen Roseman, for listening. And hey, like we've been saying, we may not agree all the time. That's what makes it fun. And we respect all of you. We love all of you. And when it comes down to it, that's what's most important, is that we respect each other and we're all in here to do what we love, what we're passionate about, and that's to talk sports. And at the end of the day, as long as we respect and love each other, everything else is gravy. Everything else is gravy.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, you stay safe out there.
Stay safe.
Stay safe. Be healthy. God bless, and we will see you next week.